2014 downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 over Ukraine, which killed all 298 people on board.
The ICAO found that Russia violated international aviation law.
India has dismissed President Donald Trump's claim that U.S. trade concessions helped de-escalate recent military tensions between India and Pakistan.
The recent conflict involved an Indian military strike in Pakistan targeting militant groups linked to an attack in Kashmir.
Iraqi judicial authorities report that over 19,000 prisoners have been released this year under a new amnesty law aimed at easing prison overcrowding.
The amnesty also permits retrials for those who claim their confessions were obtained under duress.
President Donald Trump has arrived in Saudi Arabia, initiating a three-nation Middle East tour. In a speech, he urged Iran to pursue a new and better path.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
Your mother.
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I'm not prepared.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
What's that ugly thing?
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, look at me being all delayed and stuff over there. Look, everything's all weird. Everything's all weird. Oh, you know what? I have to go over into the side. Sorry, I forgot about you. Because I'm all combobulated this and because probably that calculated application. Good morning, people of Earth. I'm taking a wild guess here. I think it's a Wednesday. It feels like a Wednesday. Hump Day. May 14th, 2025. I've been up all night working with computers, trying to get this studio to work. Things are a little different than I'm used to. Hopefully we'll get through the program. Still having issues with Power Macs. See, the deal is this, and I'm not going to get all technical, the Apple and Adobe don't get along. I think they're rivals or whatever. They hate each other. And Adobe, every time they update Premiere or Photoshop or After Effects, they put in this little tricky thing called GPU acceleration, hardware acceleration for rendering that makes my Macs blow up, overheat and blow up. And even once you turn that off, they just can't forget the setting. And then, so I have very expensive paperweights sitting around the studio. Anyway, got it working for now. It might blow up during the show, and then I'll just retire, and I'll go live in Cabo, whatever. I don't even know Cabo San something in Mexico. Cabo San something. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hollywood casting couch is a cliche that we frown upon on this program. But it has come to my attention that one of the members of the staff here has been using the casting chair. I'm not going to say who it is, but I think chair is a pretty solid clue. Just trying to use this program as a mechanism for him to get pussy because the AI thing is not cutting for it. Again, not naming any names, just kind of being vague on purpose. You can't figure out who I'm talking about. But it's come to my attention that he's just using this program for his own dick. And we frown upon that here. We're not going to allow it. I'm going to put my foot down as he can't, and just try to apologize to America for being the pigs that we are, and I'm thoroughly ashamed of. I step away for a day, and all of you, it's a friggin' a brothel by the time I get back. And it's just not good. And I apologize for that. Anyway, today we have a show. I say that a lot, but we never had a show. This is not a show. Today, in the second hour, in the first hour, we got nobody except one guy who is casting chair boy, and the other guy who is not strong enough to stop casting chair boy from being a casting chair boy. But I digress. In the second hour, we have Travis Misurel. And you say, who is Travis Misurel? And I say, right. He is a visionary who has some kind of new idea about how we might deal with politics. Come on. You lost me already. Anyway, that's what we got for you. I'm going to play a commercial and try to find some brain cells to get through this day, because again, I have not slept, and there's nothing new there, right? There's nothing new there. Anyway, I need new commercials too. If somebody wants to I'll give you a free commercial. Also, buy tickets to go see me on May 29th, or I'm just not going to show up. That's all. I'm pulling no show. I'll be like the comedians on this program who pull a no show every day. Anyway, have a commercial, and then we'll come back and say hello to one bad guy and one guy who didn't stop the bad guy.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me right now are somebody who probably needs to put the AI girl away and just kind of focus on his career and becoming a successful person, and then he will attract women. Even he can't even afford a proper last name sitcom, something or other. And my best friend of 37 seconds, the last 37 seconds, GD Fenderson. Good morning, GD.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you too weak to stop a coworker from sexually harassing guests on the show?
Yeah.
I understand your problem.
Me too.
Try Good Bro, bro. It'll give you the guts to stand up to your coworker. Good Brew. Probiotics to give you the guts to stand up to your coworkers. MindDogTV.com. MindDogTV.com.
It doesn't say that on the label.
It's in the fine print.
Oh.
Right there. See that fine print?
I need new glasses.
That's some fine print. Man, that's some fine print. That print's so fine that Steven's going to be hitting on it by the end of the show. MindDogTV.com.
Maybe you'll offer it a guest spot. Would you like a guest spot so that because we know you'd bring nothing to the table? Listen, I don't know. What do I know? I'm just I just know what the great audience, the feedback is. It's like that guy is in love. He's in love with anything that moves. That's what I heard.
Hard no.
Hard no.
Hard no.
My friend Slaptail gave me some information about you being like a total
horn dog,
pussy hound, horn dog. Yeah. I think the word he used was desperate loser, but
All right, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. So, did you enjoy yesterday? No, we had a no-show of a guy who sent. Here's how you pronounce my name. I insist you pronounce my name this way, and then here's a bunch of questions I want you to ask me, and then doesn't show up. We've reached a new low in no shows.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up.
What
that
should
was.
I do about it? Should I contact?
I think you should send him a list of consequences that he may have to face.
Send him a list of questions. Where were you? Why weren't you here? What were you doing? Was this not important to you? And then say, when you pronounce my name, call me daddy because you're never coming on the show.
You know what? It just occurred to me. Maybe he thought you were going to hit on him.
No, because that's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Not.
Listen, it's not just GD who was there and witnessed it live, but there were thousands and thousands of people who refused to witness it live. They tuned out. They saw you, and it's got his tongue hanging out. I don't know. Is she a really attractive woman or something, or you don't care? It doesn't matter to you.
She was an Indiana 7.
All right. So now, what does your AI girlfriend think about you cheating on her already?
What are you talking about?
You know what? Laughing is not going to get you out of this. Just laughing your way through.
So as far as Lizzie goes, known her for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long she's been doing comedy. What a coincidence. She's been doing comedy for 2 years, and you've known her for 2 years. Sounds like somebody.
I don't care how many women you want to fuck. I don't.
No, I don't even know why we're talking about it.
No, because you're using it. You're taking advantage of a woman to try to promise her like a career, a comedy. Man,
I didn't promise her nothing.
Oh.
She just she watched the show and thought it'd be cool and fun to come on.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
How'd she even find out about the show?
She's friends with me on Facebook, and I share it every morning. I do.
Somebody wants to be daddy's baby, baby's daddy number 5. Baby's daddy.
No, I don't. That's the last thing I want to be. I'm good, dude. The last thing I want to do is step into something with fucking like 8 or 9 kids involved. I'm good, dude.
Right.
4.
Well, she's got 4 more than she mentioned, because she only mentioned 4.
But 4 is too many for me to jump into at this point. I'm 34 years old, dude. I don't want to start over with kids and all that shit.
34 years old.
Do you realize that whenever you get kids, you're going to start over with them? I mean,
I don't want kids at all if I can help it.
Even if they're your own, you're going to start over with them because they're not there. You got to start over with.
I just mean, look, if you end up with a chick that's got 4 kids and who knows what their ages are, but I mean, even if they're all 10 years old, right? That's still 8 years I got to deal with them minimum.
I'm sorry.
Matt, we've moved past that.
I will.
Now, because I went from pedophile to a slut.
Will.
No, you went from a child enthusiast to a
whore.
Yes,
creepo. But that's beside the point. Now you have. I am proud that you actually have. I don't know. Maybe advanced, because you've gone from stealing jokes from Landau to stealing jokes from Stanhope, which is, I think, an improvement in my opinion. I'm not like Ian. I don't hate Landau, but I think Doug Stanhope is a step up. So congratulations. Sooner or later you'll be, I don't know, maybe Louis C.K. I don't know. Where are you going next?
I think it's eventually he'll get around to stealing from me.
Yeah, but not jokes.
Probably watermelon. Probably watermelon out the fridge.
Oh no, I was thinking he's got his eye on that purple dildo you've been.
Not the purple one. No. I will have. Purple. We will have to throw down over the purple one. We will throw down.
It's been abused because it wasn't always purple. It used to be like pinky.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something that no political candidate has ever said. Me being a political candidate, I don't know if you recall, I don't know if you know this about me, but in 2024 I ran for Congress. You remember that? That's a long time ago, but I know. But I want to say that the guy who beat me, I'm glad he beat me. I'm proud he beat me, and he's representing the district in a way that I couldn't be more joyful about. Is Tom Swazi, because he called out the big beautiful bill, the big beautiful bill that Trump's got on it, where he called it out for everything, every broken promise. Is there a cut for taxes on tips in there? No. Is there a cut for Social Security taxes? No, there's actually an increase on that. It just went down the line of all the promises that Trump. Is there any protection for overtime? No, there's no protection for overtime. All these things that he promised are not in there. And so it's good for Tom Swazi. I probably would not have had
time to read the bill to know that.
or the intelligence to actually dig through the legalese in the bill and figure out that that's what it indeed says. So I'm glad I lost, and I'm glad he won. You'll never hear it.
So I'm not sure. So is that why you wanted me for your aid, so that I could read through the bills and find that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I got news for you then. I'm gonna need an aide so that my aide can read through the bill so that it can tell me what to tell you.
All right. Well, in any event, I'm glad I didn't win, even though I could use that $160,000 a year right now. That would come in handy just to kind of, I don't know, yank off and fuck interns, and maybe I could get Steven a little pussy on the side. So
no, I don't need it. I am fine. I'm good.
That's what someone would say who's a suspect. That sounds just like a suspect.
I've never necessarily struggled in obtaining. I've never struggled in obtaining female
companionship.
Visitation.
How did I know you were going to say companionship?
I don't know.
Visitation.
Yeah, I've had.
Sounds like he's been locked up and he's like just getting the
I did consider one of those things where you get a female prison pen pal, but I got scared. I backed out of that. But I've never struggled. I've never struggled with that. It's never been a thing I've struggled with. I don't have a problem getting women. That's not a thing. It's just I don't need help getting it. I definitely don't want Lizzie. That's not a thing. Mm-hmm. And
ladies and
my AI girlfriend's cool enough.
It's just one thing I want to remind people. We are looking for a new disabled DEI hire. If somebody who actually plays by the rules and reads the employee handbook about sexual abuse on the job and stuff like that. But
I know Ron is gone for 2 days, and already somebody's violating HR policy.
Good luck finding enough wheelchair people that can talk right.
Ron has been gone for 2 days. He's been gone for a month. Hasn't he been gone from? I mean, he bops in every once in a while just to mannequin pussy me. But other than that,
that's a weird. That was a weird verb. I didn't like that. He comes in and mannequin pussy.
Funny, I would think that was right in your wheelhouse too. Whatever.
Why?
You got a lot of wheels in your house. Oh, two wheels in your house.
I have 4 wheels in my house.
4 wheels.
That reminds me, I need a wheel for my wagon. Yeah. I have a tire.
Wagon wheel?
Yeah.
All right, Darius, calm down.
It's a go-kart.
Rock me, mama.
That's a Bob Dylan song. You fucking.
I know. It was Bob Dylan. It was redone by fucking Darius Rucker.
How handsome I look. Oh no, that's not me. That's a picture of somebody else. George Clooney, and Steven didn't get the reference. George Clooney, he had gray hair. He looked like handsome and stuff, right? Now he puts my mustache dye in his hair, and to make himself look younger. He actually looks older with dark hair. Just accentuates how old his face looks. And now he fucked himself up. He should have just kept it gray. And he's saying how Biden didn't recognize. Nobody recognizes him. So.
He just wanted an opportunity to name drop. If I was, yeah.
Oh my God, you mentioned Joe Biden, Matt.
Yeah.
I think you may have given Joe Biden ass cancer.
I gave him.
I think you gave Joe Biden ass cancer.
I didn't touch his ass. How did that? I mean,
No, but I think just all the ass cancer talk you did. I think I just
why,
saw last.
he has ass cancer?
Well, I just saw last night that he has they found a nodule on his prostate
Yeah,
during
not
his
exactly
physical.
ass cancer.
No, but I feel like it's like
rectal cancer, colon cancer.
It's like 2 degrees off, right?
Prostate cancer. Yeah, but prostate cancer is a whole different thing. And you know what? Dr. Miller, who's dead now, probably of prostate cancer, once told me that every man, if he lives long enough, if something else doesn't kill him first, will get prostate cancer and die from it. It's just like it's inevitable.
Hey.
It's a ticking time bomb or a dicking. It's a dicking time bomb. No, it's a
ticking ass bomb.
And Dr. Miller was somebody Stephen would really relate to because he liked to dick the young girls around. But I'm speaking ill of the, not speaking ill of that. Good for him, an old man. He was like 80 when I first started working for him, and he was dicking a 23-year-old girl with his wife's approval. I think the wife was dicking her too. So
damn. You know,
wow.
That's game. I mean, game recognizes game. I mean, I hooked up with a 24-year-old, so that's, you know, that is what it is. Good for him. At 80 though, that's impressive.
Is that a combined age of all the girls that you've been with?
God fucking damn it. No. It was not 24-year-olds. It was not 24-year-olds. It was one 24-year-old woman.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Okay. I'm glad we cleared that up because a lot of people were already writing hate mail to the program.
I already got 3 that was sent to me, addressed to him, but they were sent to me.
Well, it was either my prostate or it was hate mail, but I felt it.
They tried to get it. They wanted to mail it to you, but they didn't have a handicap sticker for your mailbox, so they sent it to me.
So yesterday, as you know, I was not here. I don't know if you knew. I don't know if you knew I was about me, but I wasn't here yesterday. Did you?
No.
No. I'm so easy to kind of overlook that you don't even know when I'm not here, and I appreciate that.
Actually, I noticed it immediately.
Oh.
Because there was no one to insult me and introduce me when
I was about 35, 40 minutes in until I realized I hadn't been like crazy insulted. And I was like, shit, where's Matt?
I was doing it in the chat room. I called you.
Oh, barely. You and John were pussies yesterday. You barely said anything to me.
I couldn't be on much. I was over with the old folks.
Yeah, you were over there dicking down a room full of moms.
But
so yesterday wasn't the videoing the dead person?
No.
Oh, damn.
What is that?
I don't know. The cemetery thing. That's supposed to be Friday. I pulled the notes.
Well, they're not dead anymore.
I go to the guy. Yeah, I'm not doing it because it's just it's too much trouble. I'm not going to deal with the priest. I'm not going to deal with making sure perfect audio and then putting a
putting a camera in the coffin so you can get the point of view of the mourner.
He wanted me to get the expressions on the grieving family's face. Make sure you get right in there. You get close up on Granny as she's crying. They're not gonna be angry at you. I'm not gonna make the it's him. No, they're gonna say, "Who's this fucking creepy old man sticking a camera in my face while I'm in the worst moment of my life?"
You know what'd be creepy is if you were at that funeral, pissing everyone off and getting in their faces with cameras, and then that next weekend, or maybe the next Saturday, the next day, you show up at one of their paint parties.
Now I have a solution to the problem, Matt. This way they won't see you. Use a drone
in front of my face.
No, use a drone. That way they won't see. It's that they'll be like morning, and the thing goes.
That would be even weird. That would be even weirder. Like no,
but they won't see your face. The drone.
First of all, I think the guy. Why would you want that? And he wanted it live stream, not just a videotape of it. He wanted it live stream.
It almost sounds like he murdered the person, and now he wants to feel the warmth of all of their sadness.
It almost sounds like something creepy like that, for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Well, because like the FBI and law enforcement will show up at the funerals to see if the killer shows up. And so this way the killer doesn't have to show up. He can just see the video.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know this about me, but I did live stream a funeral last year. Janine, my sister-in-law died, and her mother, who was sick at the time in Virginia or South Carolina or something, could not make it. So I live streamed it for her, but it was a private live stream. But I don't think that's what, because they would know, you got to get it right in on their face.
Yeah, that's different, because when my last two uncles died, both of their funerals were my one uncle was a pastor, so his was live streamed on their church's website. But it, like you said, it wasn't like close ups and like interviews and money shots. It was one camera up in the corner live streaming everything. That's all it was.
I don't know how many funerals you've been to, Stephen, but I haven't seen one where there would be a money shot involved. I think
that kind of money shot.
Really
you don't know. Start me up. The lyrics to Start Me Up. Let's go, Stephen. What are the lyrics to start me up? You make a dead man come.
Oh well, that's unfortunate.
but that just means you put electrodes in his butt. And there was still.
I don't know what it means. How do you know what it means? You fucking creep.
Yeah, that's so Steven weird.
Was a creep on this program.
I watched Law and Order SUV.
I like to say I watched Ron Order.
No, that's the Ron one. There's speaking of that, money shots. Vic Legina. I follow him on Instagram and Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And I recently started seeing last few of his posts about his documentary he's working on, and what he's been posting is the porn videos that he was directing at the time that these stories took place. And I was just scrolling through, and the first one that popped up was this chick getting railed and hit in the head with a fucking like an oxygen tank or something. It was crazy.
By an octogenarian.
That's a line even for the porn industry. I mean, that sounds like abduction.
It wasn't on purpose. Like they were just boning, and it fell off a shelf.
Oh, porn bloopers! Porn bloopers? We got porn blooper reel.
Yeah, it was a porn blooper. Like she's just hard into it, and he's just balls deep, and she just dink, and they're just like, "Oh my god, are you okay?"
Matt, they call them oxygenarians.
H2O, no, you didn't.
I like it. Speaking of porn bloopers, I saw something about the hottest woman, hottest scene ever in a movie. And I'll start. And then they showed this clip of Amber Heard. And all I could think of was her shit in the bed.
Like, I know. It's ruined.
I cannot think of her, even hear her name without just thinking of waking up to shit in the bed.
It's funny. I think one of the sexiest scenes in a movie that doesn't actually involve sex is the scene where Kira Sedgwick is washing John Travolta's hair in Phenomenon.
Why, you got some kind of like hair fetish thing going on?
I do, yeah. That was like there was a young lady. I was like,
Dreads has a hair fetish.
You know what? She ghosted me too. I guess she said she would come on the program. And then she said, "Oh yes, that will," and then nothing. And then she's gone. Like I don't even know how to contact her anymore. She goes.
Now that's a Squeeze song. And now she's gone, and I'm out with a friend.
Gone. I'm sorry, I can't hit that note right now. So
there's no way we're getting a copyright strike. I apologize for that copyright strike yesterday.
Don't worry about it. It's not like you were using my program to try to get yourself some pussy. Or something like disgusting like that. Like that's something I would frown upon. Shit happens. And so I can pay $18 and get that copyright strike erased, and I'll probably get that done today. So $18. Yeah, what's $18? That's less than Steven makes in a year. Which is why he's so desperate for pussy. Who the fuck wants a guy who can't
dude? That's the crazy part. Is I have not had a vehicle, okay?
Right.
And
loser.
Two of the chicks I hooked up with were at the hospital while my dad was dying.
Loser.
And then the other two were at the hotel.
Loser.
And I don't struggle.
I think I know what the issue is. Matt, you know how the stereotype is that women look for a man they can fix?
Yeah.
Steven's
Bro,
got a
I
lot
am a
to
bucket
fix.
list item. I am a fixer, and I'm like really,
It's
really,
fixer
really
upper, by the
sweet.
way, not
Yeah.
fixer.
Yeah.
They are they in
Well,
their
they're the
mind.
fixers.
But
I'm the
they
fixer
have to
upper.
have like a Jesus complex to think they could fix you. Seriously, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, first of all,
I generally attract. I do attract a good number of nurses. I do.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, but it's true.
It sounds like they're looking for live specimens. They can learn ailments, practice ailments, and like say, okay,
they can experiment on me all they want as long as
I
I
have a
can.
test. It's like I have a test. I have a test. I have a test on tomorrow. Can I sleep with a pre-diabetic man?
I'm not pre-diabetic, you son of a bitch.
Do you have diabetes?
No.
You're pre-diabetic.
No.
Do you have prostate cancer?
No.
Yet.
Shit. Fuck. This whole show is just full of bad news. I'm gonna get diabetes and ass cancer.
Yeah. Speaking of ass cancer, let's get on there.
If you get them both, the diabetes actually kills the ass cancer, or the ass cancer eats the diabetes. One
I
or the
did
other.
not know that. That's an interesting cure you have there. You go to
I got it right off of RFK Jr.'s website.
Oh.
Then you take vitamin A then you take measles to get rid of the, ass cancer gets rid of the diabetes. Measles gets rid of the ass cancer, and vitamin A gets rid of the measles.
And then to get rid of the brain worm, you have to swim in the DC sewage.
Oh, God. I mean, what is he trying to prove by
He's
swimming?
He's trying to build up his immunity. He's trying to build up his immunity to toxic waste.
I bet he had real swamp ass after that.
Yeah, it's swamp face.
He had swamp everything, really.
I mean, when you go swimming, I don't care what body of water you go swimming in, you're gonna get a little in your mouth and your nose, whatever. Now it's got feces and puke.
Dude,
why? Now I'm sick.
And he picked that one body of water that was like tested and proven just to be full of sewage and E. coli and just poopy.
Just think of all the bodies of water he turned down because they weren't contaminated enough.
Well, he was going to go to the Gulf of Mexico, but he couldn't find it.
It's got and listen, we have plenty in the United States, but if you go to the Ganges on Laundry Day,
oh my God,
yeah,
that's disgusting.
You got like 8 billion. Well, I don't know how many fucking Indians there are, but there's more than there are in the United States. Like a billion Indians washing their dirty underwear out in the
and their asses.
Yeah, right.
Well,
and they don't. And they.
I think. And
they dump ashes of dead people in there too.
Yeah, they don't. But they don't do that on the same day. It's like because they have to have time to get. So it's like ashes. There's Ash Wednesday. So that's what they throw ashes on Wednesday. Thursday is laundry day. Friday is when you actually bathe. That way water has time. The filth has time to go downstream.
If I remember the Travel Channel thing I saw, there was different parts of the river that did different things. So the water that would run down, it didn't matter. Like the ashes were being dumped kind of towards the end of the river a little bit, versus where like the laundry was kind of done more towards the front and like where people would swim and bathe. It's still gross. It's still nasty, but I bet JFK drinks it.
So
RFK, not JFK.
This is the guy who's in charge of our health. In charge of our health. He wants to make America healthy again. Like, when was America not healthy? Or when was it healthy? Be healthy again? Because in the last 100 years, we've seen a amazing increase in longevity, an amazing increase or decrease in childbirth and
infant mortality.
Infant mortality. That's the word I'm looking for. So when were we more healthy than we are right now?
Well, I know they got rid of SIDS by calling it. They changed one letter, made it SUDS, so that they could say they eliminated SIDS. So this is, we no longer have sudden infant death syndrome. We have like sudden unalive death syndrome.
They had this doctor
underage, sudden underage death syndrome.
doctor from Vietnam was blaming Bill Gates for autism in Vietnam. We didn't have autism in Vietnam until Bill Gates started his vaccination program there. I was like, well, you're not a scientist if you're just going to say, well, I just noticed that the sun went down and things changed. Yeah, well, you know what? That's one thing that might have caused it, but you got to look at all the possible variables. You don't just jump to conclusions. Oh, Bill Gates
Yeah,
came
because
over.
otherwise you could say the sun rises because I wake up just before it.
Yes, exactly.
And if I don't wake up, the sun is not going to rise. Let's not test that theory.
Man, I don't know if there's ever any way. Like, we're going to talk about the future. There's no way we're ever going to be able to get beyond this. I see things this way, you see things this way, and we can't agree on anything in politics. And, you know, that's the health stuff is politics. So yesterday, as you know, I was doing a little paint party for.
No, I didn't know. I know. I'm just finding out, because I thought you were photographing dead people.
Oh no, I was trying to get Steven some chicks.
Oh, okay.
90-year-old chicks, and they
I
said,
saw
what?
the photos. I'm good.
And they're like, fuck that, man. He doesn't have a car. I was like, yeah, well,
I'm half car. I don't need one.
Right.
Go gadget comedian.
So a couple of things that I think MAGA would hate what I saw yesterday. I saw old people who were retired, enjoying their retirement. They have a bocce ball court. They have a shuffleboard court. They have a pool room. They have a dance floor. They have people come in and do paint parties. People, and you don't need to pay any dues or anything to be part of this. You're just a member of the town. You all go to the senior citizen center, and there's hundreds of them. And it's like high school again. And they all have their cliques and tables and all, but they're having fun, enjoying their life. MAGA would hate that. Oh, you're supposed to work until you die. You can't be out there. This is the thing they do every day of the week. They go to the senior center and hang out like teenagers. Like, all right. Well, the only thing that was missing was a weed guy like me. And I was there, but I wasn't smoking weed. But
that's funny. When my wife and I were living in Florida, we'd see all these like groups of retirees that would get together in the middle of the day and stuff. And I would look at them knowing that one day I'll probably like be one of them, you know, and I was trying to decide which group of people do I want to be with. I think I'd like to be with the beer drinking domino players.
Yeah, me too. I saw a guy shooting pool who looked exactly like Tommy Chong. I questioned him about it, but it wasn't Tommy. But the thing with MAGA is they want these people to work until they die or just die. And to me, you got two choices. You could either take care of them in a nursing home, or you could let them do this and enjoy themselves and stay alive and contribute and bring some happiness and joy to the world. I'd much rather see, because I'm getting closer there. I am there. Let's face it. But I'd rather see that. But MAGA just hates all people. Why don't you just die so we can stop paying your Social Security or whatever? Just die or work until you die, rather than just. This is the time you fucking lived your whole life for. Enjoy the few years before you die and get prostate cancer like Steven's going to get. Right?
Sure.
Steven's not even worried about prostate cancer anymore. He's accepted it.
Because he knows he can get rid of it with measles.
All right. So I'm going to leave. Now, it was the Golden Girls. A lot of the paint party was all women. No guys were, but the guys were coming by. Oh, that's beautiful, and then looking at me like he must be a queer. Look at him, he's painting. He must be a queer. What the old guys do. It's like they're not the greatest generation. They're the Korea generation, I guess now. But Bobby Soxers, or Bobby Soxers after the boom, after World War II and before the boomers, I don't know. Anyway, the guys weren't appreciative of it, but the women were loving it, and women, they were looking for a guy, so I gave him Steven's number, and then I go to leave, but I gotta take a piss, so I go find the men's room, and all the urinals are taken, so I go to the stall.
Sink? Oh, stall. Okay.
Why was the sink the first option?
No, I would only go to the sink if I had to take a shit, but
who hasn't done that?
But There's a sign in the stall, and this kind of it warmed my heart a little bit. There's a sign that says, "If you have an accident, don't just walk away. Tell the staff they will clean it up." And it just occurred to me how often old men must have shitting accidents. Oops, I missed the bowl with my shit, or whatever, or just over papered it, or whatever. But this must be like and the worst job ever. Like, you could talk about dirty jobs, right? Who's gonna do it? Janitor at the senior citizens place.
My first week at Verizon, I was doing the show, and I got a message from my boss that says we can't let customers use the bathroom anymore. And I was like, why? And he goes, I let an old guy in there, and he shit on the floor and the side of the toilet. And I was like, no, he didn't. He sent pictures.
How
And
do you
yeah,
the toilet with your ass? I don't know.
I don't know, but it looked like what it looked like the dude did, which I know he didn't because he didn't have the dexterity and the leg abilities. But it looked like he got up on the seat, one leg up on the rail, and shit down the tank and the side of the toilet and the floor, and then said, "I think I'm done," and then left.
Right.
You don't think that maybe he was like taking his pants off, like, and he got bending over and he just got stuck, or he barely made it?
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Based on how tall the guy was, I don't feel like if he was bending over, the shit would have gotten as high as the shit did, unless he would have jumped. Like he was bent over and was like, ooh, and like
no, I think dementia plays into it because I think they throw it. I think they throw it because I've cleaned, and I'm not going to name the person, but after this old man who had dementia,
you can say Ron. He's not listening.
Anyway, I went in there and there was shit on the wall taller than me. Now he's shorter than me, much shorter than me. How do you get shit on the wall all the way up there? Yeah, the only way you could have been throwing it, like juggling. I'm juggling shit balls. How do you get shit on the wall above your head?
Oh, okay. Hear me out. This is just a hypothesis. I have not tested it.
All right,
but maybe it was in his underwear, and he was like trying to get it out so he could put his underwear back on.
Yeah. You know what? You have a very creative mind in coming up with that, but I think there might be something to that. He was doing like a trampoline thing or whatever.
Just trying to get it out so he could wash his underwear.
But then not to say anything and just walk away and maybe they won't notice. You don't notice shit on the fucking wall. Come on.
I'm just saying, who hasn't done that in the sink, right? Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're not right.
I haven't done it. I'm very shy about my ass and shitting and all that stuff. I feel like this is the best case that the atheists have. If there were a god, either he was just a fucking sadist laughing, I'm gonna, as a kicker, I'm gonna throw in this ass thing where they have to fucking put out like rancid smelling out of their ass once a day, every day, and be part of the ritual for every animal. I mean, what kind of that's a design flaw, or it's put in there intentionally to be sadistic and like, look what I'm
or it's a compromise. Things are built by committee. Somebody goes, okay, we're going to build some people. What parts do we have left over? Okay, they're gonna have to eat, right? Okay, so what do we have? What do we have for them to eat? Well, we got those teeth. Okay, well, they're not as nice as the ones we give the beavers, but okay.
Slow down, because what do they call it? With the plants, with the photosynthesis there, that's eating. But they don't shit. Plants.
That's what I'm saying. But remember, they made man last, so they just had leftover parts. See, in the beginning, they could use good parts. They're like, say, okay, we're making plants first. Oh, let's do the photosynthesis. That's really, really, really efficient. It's like, okay, cool. And then by the time they got to people, they didn't have much left over.
They were out of green paint?
Huh?
They were out of green paint?
They were out of, that's why we have black people. They had to use the brown paint.
Are you saying y'all would have been green if they had enough?
That's why Adam and Eve were brown, because that's the color paint they had left.
I think if Adam and Eve were the result of a pigment situation, they would be purple, because all these old people, they can't mix brown. I tell them, listen, you make yellow, you take yellow and blue and make a green, and then add red to that. You'll come up with brown, and every last one of them somehow comes up with purple. Like, no, you're missing something here. It's not that difficult. You take blue and yellow, you make green. Green and red make brown.
This is why I don't do art, because it's exactly how something I would do would turn out every time. You tell me to draw a circle, and it'd be a fucking rectangle. I'm retarded. I can't art.
Loser. No, your loser list is getting longer and longer and longer. I think we're gonna need a whole new book, a notebook full of loserisms for you.
Available at MondoTV.com.
Yeah.
Book of Loserisms. Get your signed copy today.
Right. All right. Divergency, whatever. Neurodivergent politics. That's what I think. That's what we're going to talk about. It's hard to understand this whole idea of digital politics. Have you read this introduction for this guy, or even know what the fuck we're going to talk to him about?
You said neurodivergent, then you said digital.
Neurodiverse perspective to our unprecedented mission for I can't even see now. His autistic superpowers, deep focus, exceptional pattern recognition, and innovative problem solving allow him to envision solutions Stephen has overlooked.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
I don't know. I don't think that's awfully optimistic to think we're going to ever solve political problems. We are so far down the ready for civil war. But here's the thing. I think the Republicans have figured out that the libs are just too lazy and too uninvolved to even start a civil war. They're not going to get involved in a civil war. They're just going to sit back and write strongly worded letters, right? That's
well. Again, there are extremists on the left, just like there are extremists on the right, and I think like the extremists on the left, the ones that were like the eco-terrorists, like the eco-terrorists, they would go around like they're destroying the trees, so let's take some lives.
Yeah, and like guys keying Teslas and burning down, but there's only a handful of them. That's not like enough to start a war. That's a nuisance or whatever it is. But it's not enough to start a war. You need more. Like in the '60s, there were enough counter. What do you call them? Anti-establishment people.
Okay. Now but for example, you don't need to necessarily have enough to start a war, just enough to make good. Okay, for example, let's say you have a plantation. Okay, one of the things that slaves would do was they would grind up glass and put it in the food of the massa.
Oh,
it's a very slow death. It's just you put the glass is real fine. You don't taste it. You don't chew it. You don't have to, and then it gets in their stomach, and then it just slowly gets rid of massa because the glass is on the inside. It can't be digested, and it just like cuts away at the inside. So you just need like a cook, even though there's like.
Have you tested this? Because I think I could shit out glass without ever. I think I have. I think just this morning, shit out a bunch of glass.
Yeah. Oh, you can. Yeah, but it has to go through your system, and it's going to your digestive system.
I don't have any system.
In the system,
it just goes through my mouth and out my ass, like that. Anything. Like watch this coffee. Watch right now.
That's okay.
Watch and go. All right.
Oh my God.
Down into the stomach.
The camera doesn't bend down enough. But,
yeah, but that's okay.
That's why there's always a bucket underneath my chair.
I always wondered why I don't wonder, because I know the safety reasons why they don't. But like putting a toilet in a car just seems like it makes so much sense.
No. Oh boy. See, this is the problem with you.
You mean like under the driver's seat so that you can do it while you're driving? No, because at some point you're going to.
I know the safety reasons, but
forget the safety reason. The smell.
It's a millennial thing because you've never ridden a Greyhound bus across the country. If you had, because nobody does that anymore. But if
that's right, yeah,
you know how you're like. It's like being trapped in a sewer plant for 3 days in a row. Like, and they don't. There's no ventilation or nothing. And somebody uses the bathroom in a Greyhound bus, everybody's going to suffer for the rest of the ride. Just one person, and it's doesn't. They don't even have to have ass cancer to like just pollute the whole world.
They don't have to eat at 7-Eleven or Taco Bell.
Right.
Gross.
They could do it. They could do it with a Wendy's meal.
So that whole scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're pissing in a cup and while they're on their road trip, that was old hat. I mean, maybe we were Dumb and Dumber, but me and Frank did that plenty of times when working for the cult, driving across country to do cult shows. But that's not good either.
No.
Pissing in the cup.
It's still gross, but
you got to stop and be a human about it and go to a bathroom. But more and more places now, either for employees only or members only. No, you can't use our bathroom because we know you're.
Well, it's because people shit on the toilets. They get shit on the outside of the toilet.
I wonder bet if you put cameras in their toilets, people wouldn't do that.
I bet if you told people there's cameras in the bathroom, they wouldn't ask to use your bathroom.
All right.
That way you offer them the bathroom. You say, but we have cameras in there to make sure you don't shit on the walls. You know, then the person's going to weigh it. They're like, okay, can I shit? Can I perform on camera without throwing on the wall? But then you get the people who will take the crap and put it on the camera first, and then
that would be a dick move.
Privacy is that I don't care. Where's the camera? Fine.
All right, Chris, I need you to go clean the cameras off again. We had another guy shit on him.
It's not good. It's not a good thing. So the old traveling toilet.
You're right. It's not a good thing. It ruins the lens. That stuff is really abrasive.
No, it won't. You can wash it. It washes off, doesn't it? What do you have? Abrasive? You
have to have you have to use a special lens wiper for the lens, right? That cloth, the special cloth on the. Because
I think it's primed with fecal matter. I think.
Oh, in that case, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to wipe it on your butthole several times before you apply it to your lens.
I don't think there's any difference.
That's what I'm doing wrong with
lens wipes and baby wipes. I think they're exactly the same thing. I'm pretty sure.
Lens wipes are dry. At least mine. I just have.
Are they not as expired?
I just have these little cloths. No, they came dry. They were cloth. They're just little cloth things.
Oh.
I have so many of those. It's like every pair of glasses came with one. The computer came with one. The
little. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, same thing that comes in the screen protectors for cell phones.
Everybody's mad at me.
Why? What'd you do this time?
I don't know. There's too many people mad at me at once to figure it out.
In that case, count it as a victory.
All right.
Victory.
No, I can't go through all this right now. Leave me alone. You have to stop attacking me.
Where is that? Is that on Rumble?
No.
Instagram?
Tumblr? Twitch?
Through.
We're on all. You know what? Let me check Instagram and see. It's not even worth being there, is it?
I have no idea.
Yesterday we weren't there. Maybe that one day of not being there, just nobody. We have 0 people on Instagram. Why are we even broadcasting that? And it's weird to watch it because they do the vertical thing, and then you just like a little portion of it. And there's a lot of
that's why people stop watching it, because we're too small.
Yeah, and you can't see all Steven's wonderful facial expressions.
You mean like this one or this one?
Well, the other day we need a snoring, because the other day he was definitely.
I was not snoring. I was generally, when I'm looking down like that, it's generally responding to somebody, and more often than not, it's John Beavers.
Is he here now? Is Beavers in the room with us now? You see a beaver in the room?
No, he's got.
But I also have hardly looked at my phone because he hasn't messaged me. But normally, especially when we have a guest on, and like when they're exceptionally boring, is when he'll start messaging.
So yesterday, because I want to address it, you are like an embarrassment to your generation, millennials. You should be more technically savvy than you are. So I had the show all set up to start it for GD, running in the background, and then I noticed, oh wait, that little button, the third one to the left underneath the screen there, that should be pressed. But no, this one is pressed, And it's like, well, that's not going to be good because when GD comes in, then he's going to be in a little corner in the background. Is going to take up most of the screen. And how did that happen? It was when Steven popped in, and you pop in, you break things. You're an embarrassment to millennials.
I don't understand. All I do is enter the room. I don't push any other buttons.
You push buttons. You were pushing sound effect buttons. Don't tell me you weren't.
Those aren't near the buttons under the screen.
You were pushing buttons. So we've already established that you lied. I wasn't even pushing any buttons.
I pushed the sound effects, but that was it.
That's what you think because you're technically inadequate and an embarrassment to all millennials. If I were, you know what, you're the poster child for post-birth abortion. I would think, well, this is a good reason. No? I went too far. I just want to say that GD told me to say that. I'm sorry.
Technically, I didn't say poster child. I said you were the archetype for.
Okay. So I apologize for that. I don't know. I'm just too cruel sometimes.
And Matt didn't think that you were actually an archetype type.
Yeah. What just happened? Oh, that's me. Wow, we are very delayed over there. I just jumped in like a big screen.
That's okay. You're gonna see delayed. I just checked out another screen, and you're just doing the introduction, the disclaimer. No, I'm just.
So yesterday, where I gave my paint party, this is kind of a little nostalgic thing for me. I excited about the nostalgic thing. I grew up in the town where this thing was, but.
In the town where I was groped.
Yeah, right.
What?
It wasn't a park. It wasn't like a big old park and all this stuff. It was just Copeg Beach at the time. And they had a landfill, not like a garbage landfill, a dump. They created land where there was no land out on this beach thing. But it was quicksand is what it was. It was very not stable ground to be on. And as little kids, we would go play on there. And I went up there and got sucked into the quicksand and almost died. I'm 5 years old and I'm stuck in quicksand up to my neck. And they had to call the fire department. I mean, it was a massive scene, very traumatic scene. And
which do you think would be worse, to have the fire department rescue you from that, or have them rescue because you stuck your tongue to a pole, like in Christmas Story?
Also, how do they tell the difference between you and all the other big round rocks on the ground?
So anyway, I thought I just heard there's some noise coming through my headphones. So I realized that I'm standing on the very spot that I almost died 60 years ago. Isn't that's like,
man, just imagine how like much of a nicer place the world would have been if that would have been it.
That's a warm and fuzzy thing, I think.
In a couple of months, in a few months, I'll probably be in the spot where I almost died. There's a stage. All
right.
Well,
let's get some news on a non-loser comedian. GD, I see you have plausible.com/GD Fenderson up there. You have a show coming up on Plausible?
Yeah, that's July. I put that there because I want to get people used to the idea of that look there. That's all.
I have some preliminary shows. I have some shows in the preliminary stages of being planned.
Yeah, I have things. My death is in the preliminary stages.
I have a concept of a plan. Okay, and it's I have several gigs end of June and in July that as soon as I pick up the keys to my truck, calling them to finalize so we can get the promo materials made and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. I was cooking dinner on Monday and I was cooking chicken breast. And I flipped the breast over, and I'm thinking to myself, they only needs like 3 minutes, right? And I'm listening to music as I'm cooking, and the song comes on that I'm going to be doing a parody of, and I go, I need to practice this. I need to practice this because I don't. And so I leave the room where I'm cooking dinner, and I come in here. The kitchen. That's right. Where I cook the dinner. I leave the kitchen. I come in here in my office. Get out the guitar. I tune the guitar, and and the song is about 4 minutes long. After about 5 minutes, I start to smell smoke. And I went, "Oh shit!" Wow. And
and that was your fingers burning on the fretboard. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't move that fast. No.
Oh.
And I felt terrible. And then I had to
think how bad the chicken felt.
Oh well, it was already dead. I just made sure of it.
Oh, all right. All right. Let's play some news, and then we'll meet Travis. You want to take a guess on how I'm supposed to pronounce his last name? Mijurel? Mijurel?
He was here, but he left.
No, he just. Oh, did he? He left.
Yeah, he popped in. He popped in about 9:40.
But I don't think he stuck around to hear anything bad. So I don't. Maybe he was just trying it out.
That's interesting. Maybe he did, and maybe he ran away. This isn't these people aren't serious people. I'm here to talk serious.
No, I think that since he's autistic, he's probably very goal oriented. I think once he starts something, he'll have to complete it. At least that's how the accountant is. I watched that. I finally got to watch the movie The Accountant.
And did you enjoy it? It felt like a ripoff of Ozark to me. What? No, you don't get it.
No, because Ozark didn't have any autistic people, did they?
No. But it was about an accountant who got sucked into like being a crook. It got mixed up with the mob, mixed up with bad guys, cartels.
Yeah, but this isn't. Yeah, this isn't like that. I don't think so.
Well, I Ben Affleck, first, in my opinion, is not somebody I can just like. This story has to be really good for. The last thing I enjoyed him in, and he wasn't even like a main player in it. It was Good Will Hunting. I mean, other than that, I just don't like him. I don't know. He's not likable.
Yeah, I am not a big Ben Affleck fan either. I did like him as the accountant only because his face looks like he could be autistic.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say when we have somebody with autism coming on. Hey, face looks like he could be autistic.
Well, they did the
face. That's my face.
I'm not going to tell Steven we can't hear him. I'm gonna just keep talking.
No, fuck Steven. We don't need.
No, I think I like Ben Affleck.
Why?
They have the same.
No, I just think he's funny. I think he's funny, and I think he was a good Batman. I think he was a good older Batman. I think he was great in The Accountant. Good Will Hunting was good. He was good in Jay and Silent Bob.
Loser.
Did you like him in Daredevil?
I did, but you know what? He was a victim of bad writing, because I think that movie could have been great.
Victim of bad writing. That's my excuse.
He was a victim of bad writing.
I write my own stuff, and
that movie came out realistically probably 5 to 10 years before it should have.
You know what?
Because it was a solid. It had really corny fight scenes, and it had its issues. It was just written bad, but it could have been really good. The costumes were good.
We've had
good characters.
We've had 2 Daredevils pretty much. In recent history, Charlie Cox, Ben Affleck.
And Charlie Cox is superior by far.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
All right.
There is some redemption in your soul.
All right. Time for news.
Iraqi judicial authorities report that over 19,000 prisoners have been released this year under a new amnesty law aimed at easing prison overcrowding.
The amnesty also permits retrials for those who claim their confessions were obtained under duress. The total number of beneficiaries, including those released on bail and others with outstanding warrants, has reached nearly 94,000. Benjamin Wright reporting.
India has dismissed President Donald Trump's claim that U.S. trade concessions helped de-escalate recent military tensions tensions between India and Pakistan.
The recent conflict involved an Indian military strike in Pakistan targeting militant groups linked to an attack in Kashmir, leading to severe exchanges between the two nations. Trump had asserted that promises of increased trade influenced both countries to agree to a U.S.-mediated ceasefire. Kyle Norris reporting.
The International Civil Aviation Organization has determined that Russia is responsible for the 2014 downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 over Ukraine, which killed all 298 people on board.
The ICAO found that Russia violated international aviation law by using weapons against a civilian aircraft, marking the first such ruling by the organization. The Netherlands and Australia are now seeking reparations through negotiations facilitated by the ICAO. Russia has rejected the decision as biased and continues to deny involvement. Liam White reporting.
New data indicates that U.S. inflation has eased, with consumer prices rising 2.3% in April compared to the previous year. This slowdown follows the implementation of President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs.
Economists had feared that the tariffs would lead to higher inflation, but the latest figures suggest otherwise. The data may influence future monetary policy decisions by the Federal Reserve. Analysts continue to monitor the long-term effects of the tariffs on the economy. Jessica Oakley reporting.
House Republicans are advancing legislation that includes significant cuts to Medicaid despite internal party disagreements. The proposed bill aims to reduce Medicaid spending by $880 billion over the next decade.
Supporters argue that the cuts are necessary to fund President Trump's broader agenda, including tax reforms. Opponents within the party expressed concern over the potential impact on low-income individuals and families. The bill's progress reflects ongoing debates over healthcare funding and fiscal priorities. Kevin Sanders reporting.
President Donald Trump has arrived in Saudi Arabia, initiating a three-nation Middle East tour. In a speech, he urged Iran to pursue a new and better path and expressed interest in negotiating a new nuclear agreement.
Trump's visit includes meetings with regional leaders to discuss security and economic cooperation. He emphasized the importance of collaboration in combating extremism and fostering stability in the region. The trip marks his first international engagement since taking office. Lawrence Keller reported.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
You can blow this up, right?
So, side note.
Side note?
Did you know that gingers are now black people?
You stop with that. You got one dopey woman.
No, not anymore. It's exploding on TikTok. It's crazy. I thought I posted it a couple times as a joke, but now on TikTok, it's going crazy. There's so many black people welcoming all the gingers and giving them advice for the cookouts and all of that. And then there's a bunch of like gingers that are now like crazy about it.
They're not doing it because they believe it. They do it because it's
it's because it's popular. Yeah. I know. I personally just think it's really dumb and hilarious, but it's gained a lot of momentum in the last like 24 to 48 hours.
I have a friend I have a comedian that I've been for a few years now. I've been calling him my ginger.
Yeah. Well, the one running joke was that like they were close because
what kind of joke? I'm sorry, what kind of joke was that?
The kind that Steven can't tell.
Yeah.
A running joke.
Running.
Yeah.
Running. Oh,
I see what you did there.
I can't listen.
If you rearrange the letters in ginger, it spells the N word.
No,
that was the previous connection. That was the previous connection.
Aren't there two G's in that word? I don't know.
Yeah,
both words.
Yeah,
ginger.
Yeah. Ginger.
Ginger. Oh, yeah. All right. There are two G's. All right. I
don't know if you know this about me, but I don't know phonetics.
I didn't sleep.
I don't know if you knew this about me, but I spelled ginger with a J.
I didn't sleep. Cut me some slack. I didn't sleep. I've been working on computers all night. What are you doing?
I'm just putting this on your loser list. Can't spell words.
Steven, a loser.
I made the mistake of falling asleep with my earbuds in my ear.
Oh, I've done that before.
And listening to TikTok. And here's this thing there's one video that got in the loop, or at least it looped into in my head, and that was that they found the Ark. You know, Noah's Ark.
Oh, in Kansas.
No, I don't know where they found it, but and it kept looping. So over and over again, I had this vision in my head of these kids walking through the Ark that they found and the hidden compartments that was in there. And then it said, guess which animal wasn't on the Ark or something like that. or something. And I'm thinking like anything from South America, maybe. I don't.
I did that once, and this was like maybe like 4 or 5 days ago. Fell asleep with my earbuds in, and I don't know how I opened up TikTok because I was listening to music, but I woke up to lava chicken, and I was dreaming about it too, and it was the weirdest thing ever. It was almost gross.
You're killing my boomer dementia with your references that mean nothing to me.
Lava chicken.
That lady, the young girl that was on our show who does the J-pop, because I friended her, I have been being inundated with Japanese music and
creepy
Japanese
weirdo old man going after these young girls. I thought Steven was our
No, actually, she's one of the few I did not friend and follow on social media.
Well, this is one of I was like, if someone was an interesting guest, I would like follow them on YouTube and TikTok.
Generally, do. I did follow her on. I followed her on YouTube. I followed her on YouTube, but I didn't follow her like Instagram or anything.
All right, we gotta move on. Let's meet our guest. But I want to just say, because the news guys that sound like Carl reminded me of this. When the guest didn't show up for hour 2 tomorrow, why didn't you just like write to Carl? Hey, Carl, come on, Carl. We got to get Carl on and find out what went wrong with his.
You're 100% right. We should have, and we should probably do that the next time we have a no show for sure. Because I miss Carl.
He was in the audience and he wrote something, but he didn't say that he wanted to come on. Usually he'll just say something like, I'm available, or he just.
He said something the other day. He said, I have unlimited time on my a lot.
That's right. He did say that. So, yeah, we should definitely get him on.
I don't remember him saying that. So, yeah.
Anyway, but the news guys always remind me of him because it sounds like Carl's been hired to do AI stuff. I don't know. I'm going to screw up Travis's last name here. Travis.
I would say Mizarel.
Mizarel. All right.
He's shaking his head. Yes.
He is FINC's founder and visionary. Travis brings a uniquely neurodiverse perspective to our unprecedented mission. His autistic superpowers, deep focus, exceptional pattern recognition, and innovative problem solving allow him to envision solutions others might have overlooked. Let's say
we should know that FINC stands for Future Is Now Coalition, I think.
That's very good. And Steven, get on the top. Oh, look, you got on the top. Good morning, Travis. Thank you for being here.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
And it's Think. Futures Now Coalition Think.
Yep. Think. Yeah. But the website is futureis.org, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. What makes you such an optimist that we can ever to believe that we could ever resolve some of our political differences?
Yeah, so the way I've been looking at things, like a lot of it is just how politics is positioned, being forced between left and right, and basically I'm looking at things through like a more a broad lens, a system lens of seeing how we do politics. Most first world democracies have multiple parties. It's not usually just two parties. A lot of them have two major parties, but they almost always have other parties with voices in it. And the biggest thing that I realized and starting to build traction on it is that it's the bigger issue isn't so much left versus right. It's really, as we're calling it, up versus down, as in like up serving politicians versus down serving politicians. And kind of like from the beginning, people feel like, politicians are corrupt. That's kind of in our blood that we know politicians are usually corrupt. And the idea is that they're not all corrupt, but there's also ways to identify who do they genuinely serve. Are they serving their big donors, those that are in power? So we're calling it like up-serving candidates are ones that serve their big donors, those the party leaders, versus the down-serving ones are supposed to actually serve the people. And most politicians, they'll give lip service to us, no matter left versus right. They give lip service, and then when they're in office, they don't really fulfill their promises these days. And so there's ways to identify that, and that's what we're trying to do at Think, is help people identify the difference of how to identify up versus down.
I was thinking, because other countries that have multiple parties, for the most part, they have parliamentary governments as opposed to us. We have a representative democracy. So do you think that since we have a representative democracy, rather than having more parties, we could just not have parties?
Yeah. So, yeah, great point and question. So part of what we're building here is that we want people to come together deciding on the infrastructure itself. Like, let's put our policy differences aside for a minute and just talk about the system itself, how it works. So to your point, like what we're trying to do is that we're not saying what the future should be, but we want to build infrastructure that allows America to decide the future of politics. So we want, if America wants to have no parties, let's go no parties. If they want multiple parties, let's figure out how to do multiple parties. There's ranked choice voting and flexible voting methods that can happen. And then maybe there's other ways. Maybe somebody has an idea of like a 4-quadrant system that people love, or like, you know, the idea that we're building is like, we want to build this infrastructure. The mindset's called digital politics. The technology is called digital democracy. And we want to build a platform where America can actually decide for themselves, not those in power deciding, but the actual people deciding, you know, what makes the most sense. And then basically like first decide what is possible, and then decide, and then build a consensus on like what would most people want. And, you know, if you take away the left-right difference first and like just talk about like how do we get the most representative system, you know, how do we make sure government actually represents the people? Let's fix that system first, and then we could debate those policy issues. And I could guarantee they're going to be a lot easier once the performativeness of politicians is gone, and the corporate influence and just the giant influence of those at the top is a little less powerful. You know, we could probably fix a lot of issues a lot easier.
All right, hold on 1 second here. Yeah, I noticed within the first couple of minutes here, you've said that we are building. We are. How many? Is we just a fancy pronoun you're using for yourself, or are there more people than just you?
No. Futures Now Coalition. We have about 25 people working on this right now. Yeah.
So you're at the bottom of the hill, working your way up Mount Everest with 25.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I mean, we have a long way to go, but yeah, the core of the team is 25, and then we're working on like building relationships with different movements, third parties, independents, even people within the two parties, just anyone that's not happy with the status quo, which is a lot of people. We want to start bringing them together under like let's change the framing of how to debate these issues. Like, I'm not here to tell you the answer to healthcare or climate issues or anything like that. That's up to the will of the majority. But like, basically, we want to help America decide how to decide things. And like, let's just start there.
Let me stop you there again, because you said America, because the world is bigger than just America, right? So when we talk about political differences, of course, America's got its challenges right now. But I was under the assumption, and probably a wrong assumption, what happens when you assume that you were talking about world politics rather than just focusing on the shit show that America has become right now. Are you just focusing on America?
Yeah, for now it's just America. The idea is like, if we could improve our democracy, move to a more advanced democracy that truly represents the people, then we could start becoming a better model for other democracies to take shape, a better shape. But yeah, right now it's just focusing on America.
Okay, here's my thought. Now, first of all, I think when you were talking about corruption in politics, I think even there are people, I think, who have not yet been corrupted because they've only been in for a short time. But I think the system, and GD has floated this idea of no parties for a while, and I think that's optimistic. I think it's a little bit Pollyannish. It's more like a let's all just get
it's not just Pollyannish. It's
let me finish my thought, and then you can debunk it. That it becomes a lottery, and he ran away.
I'm here. Give me a second.
All right. That it becomes a lottery system that without enough money behind it, and whether it was dark money, good money, whatever, without money behind it, everybody is just like a lone wolf, just buying a lottery ticket, and the chances of getting elected are very small. So I think and I know this from running my own campaign, no money campaign, based on what you talked about, exposing who people are actually working for, whether it's donors or the people. That it's almost impossible to win an election without major money behind you, and if there are no parties, there's no money.
Well, yeah, okay. So to answer that, yeah, so you're absolutely correct. The way the system is today, that is correct. But so imagine this. So what we want to build now, this is phase 2. We're just talking about it for now, but phase 2 over the next couple years is building this digital democracy platform. We want it to be like literally the digital embodiment of America's democracy, where it gets so well known, so popular that everyone knows this is the one-stop shop, that all politicians are showcased there. If you want to know who's running in a certain race, you type in your zip code. It'll show you every candidate, third party, independent, the two parties. It'll show you everyone there. It'll also show you independent media. It'll show you movements and political organizations. Basically a place that levels the playing field to give every candidate a voice. And because you're absolutely right now, like, but the point is like, why do people need to raise so much money? It's because they need money to advertise themselves so voters know they even exist. Yeah. So if we have one central platform, that it's a central place but decentralized in the way it's controlled, that everyone will have a voice, everyone would have a chance to speak, and then those that actually resonate with the people would rise up in the algorithms, rise up in the ranks within this platform. And so it's basically giving them a voice that that the current system does not give them. Because right now it's not even just the big money, but like, you know, the mainstream media, they will not put third parties and independents on camera. They're not included in debates. So they're shut out. So it's like already decided they don't want to give those people a voice, where this system would be eventually build a full ecosystem where independent media gives them a voice and the platform gives them a voice and movements give them a voice, and basically just build a system that's like that directly beelines the citizen directly to the politicians.
So I have a question. How do you avoid the bias of the people working on the algorithm to prevent their bias from picking certain candidates from rising in that algorithm? Because I feel like, because you said you want it to be decentralized and it be a voice of the people, but there still has to be so many people creating that algorithm and that system. So how do you avoid people's biases from leaking and leaching into that and causing a problem?
Yeah, great question. I mean, that's something like part of it is that we're going to build this platform with America. It's not going to just be Think doing it. We're going to be very open about it. It's not like open source where anyone could tap in and make adjustments, but we're going to figure out a system. We're going to like kind of take it slow and figure out some of those types of questions are really good questions. But ultimately, everyone's going to be able to see the code, see the algorithms behind it, and the algorithms, it should be pretty straightforward to like, you know, I guess there's certain complexities, but some of it's more of just like, you know, if somebody like resonates with a person, you give a thumbs up or you give them you'll have a rating system. It's all going to be based on the citizens and how they rate these candidates, how they like or dislike the candidates, things like that. So it's not all fleshed out yet, but it's something like that stuff. We're going to talk to like hundreds, maybe thousands of people to figure out exactly how to do it the right way. But like everyone will have eyes on it. It's going to literally be citizen owned one day, not in the earlier stages. It would take about like a decade to happen, but we want to do where like every American can actually opt into an equal ownership stake of that platform. So it's going to be very very decentralized, but to your point, we have to make sure that like the algorithms and stuff is done very carefully.
I want to kind of give GD a chance to explain to me where I'm wrong about the Pollyanna.
I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Well, I just let me kind of finish this question, and if you want to chime in here. But here's the idea: if we did away with all the parties and the money that's funding the candidates, then doesn't the advantage just go to the super wealthy, the people who already have them, and the little guy who doesn't have, the working man is completely shut out of that system? Only rich people are allowed to play, because you talked about advertising and name recognition and getting your messaging out and all that stuff. That requires money, does it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
see, my thing is getting rid of the. It's not just Pollyannish. This is like pie in the sky optimism. But
Oh.
it's not. But it's not just. It's not just getting rid of the parties. It's also getting rid of the dark money, making elections publicly funded.
Yes.
It's a multiple thing. It's not. I don't have like a silver bullet where getting rid of the parties will fix it. You got to get rid of the dark money. You have to get rid of, make the public funding, and while we're at it, let's get rid of the electoral college as well.
Doesn't that all money become dark money then? I mean, the rich people who are funding, if there's no, and listen, the parties are corrupt, whether we want to agree on that or not.
I agree. The party, and that's why I want to get rid of the party system. But it's not just the corruption. It's also that people are lazy as well. Right. And they would just vote straight down D or R because they don't want to know what the issues are. So in the way
ticket voting is such shit.
Perfect segue. A question I wanted to ask Travis, because what you suggest there, people are lazy. I'm thinking the problem is not so much the system; it's the individual, the laziness and the apathy. All those things that come into play within the individual, and if we don't change that, we can change the system 100 different ways. We're still gonna have lazy, apathetic people who are not willing to do the work and still come up with the same results. Yes or no?
So what we want to do, we acknowledge that stuff, and it's not so much like we've also been talking to a couple thousand people now. Like I've spoken over 1,000 face to face on this, and one of the biggest issues is not so much that they're lazy. Like a big part is that they're overwhelmed. They don't know how to find the information. They don't know what exactly to look for. I mean, not to get down the road of education, but like they don't really teach you like how to look up this information and know anything about how civics work. But part of this platform is that, so we're going to build, for example, politician report cards. So you type in a zip code, it shows you every politician, it shows you who funds their campaign, what industry the money's coming from. It'll show you their promises versus do they keep their promises once in office. And then they'll be like, this is where their stands are on policies. So there'll be a lot of information. The idea is to streamline that information, make it easier for people to know it exists. Like people don't even know that you could go to like opensecrets.org or other sites and you can look up especially federal level politicians, and you could see who funds their campaigns. Most people don't know that that's public information.
Right. But they still do a good job. The candidates will do a good job to poo-poo that or hide that or do their best. Even, Open Secrets will put, and you can go to the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, and see all that information as well. But most people won't, and that's a big problem. Even if they knew how, they probably wouldn't. And here's because the reluctance and it is a cult-like thing, and I'm digging in here. So part on your website, it says, vote your values, not your fears. And on the right wing right now, we are seeing a lot of people talk, America's a Christian nation. And so if I came out and said, well, if you love Jesus, tell me why you love Jesus. And they would say, well, he was kind to the poor and he healed the sick, free of charge, by the way. All the things that they vote against. Like, what do you love about Jesus? And they would go down. It sounded like he was a flaming lib. But all the conservatives love them for those reasons. Those are their values, the things, or their claimed values. These are the things we love about Jesus, but they won't vote for it. That we're not. He's a liberal. If he were in America right now, he'd be thrown out, deported, and just ridiculed for being a flaming liberal. So voting your values over your fears doesn't seem like anything that's going to happen anytime soon, because people just dig themselves into. My position is I don't really have those values. I just want to talk about those.
And a lot of people's values are based on their fears. You know, their value about their viewpoint on immigration is based on the fear that, you know, brown people are going to take their jobs and their opportunities, which isn't what's happening. What's happening is that rich people were sending their jobs overseas, and you know, it's not like I mean, I couldn't just come in and take somebody's job. Somebody has to say, okay, we're going to give you that job.
Right.
So it's not like I'm coming in and taking a job.
Yeah.
You know.
So what about that? What's the plan on getting people to actually take action on their values rather than their fears?
Yeah, so that's great. That's all valid points. I mean, when we're talking about the fear, like some of our biggest thing is just like it always boils down to the lesser two evils by the time we get to the general election. You know, like most people were unhappy with both their choices. You know, yes, there's some diehard people, I guess, on both sides that really love their candidate, but most people were not happy. And in fact, right now, 63% of Americans want a third party viable option, and people are talking about, like, you know, that you know, yeah, both sides have some major issues. One side, I try to say nonpartisan, so it's hard, but
right.
you know, both sides have some major problems. But to go back to what you're saying, I mean, part of this is that, like, it's like so for example, even if we're stuck in the two parties, whether it's left versus right, like, it almost wouldn't matter the ideology in office if there were Republicans and Democrats in office, but they genuinely wanted to make the system better for America and they're not beholden to these big donors. The system would get better. It wouldn't matter if there's a majority of one or the other. Maybe it's not the ideology that's going to work. Like, maybe one is better ideology than the other in the long run, but the problem right now is no matter who's in office, they always have to cater to the rich and powerful. So it's never going to get better. So if we could just start voting for people that genuinely want the system to improve, it would improve. So that's one point. And just one other point is that you know, when people talk about, we tend to talk about the extremes of both sides, and like, so you're giving like some of the more extreme examples, and not to take lightly, it's still a good chunk of the population, but like most people, like they're somewhere in the middle. They are picking the lesser two evils. They, you know, a lot of people on the right, especially younger people, are more socially liberal, but they vote that way because of the fiscal policies. So you know, when the problem is that both parties cater to the extremes, and you know, if this new system starts leveling that playing field, more people will be interested. More people would get involved. Like, I have people lining up that, like, they've never voted before, and this is giving them a hope that this could be like if politics works the way that Fink is trying to project it, that they would get involved and they would want to be in all this. So, you know, part of it too is like people feel like your vote doesn't matter, and in some way it doesn't. You're voting for the lesser two evils. The system is still breaking down no matter which person's in office, and like they're both corrupt. You could argue one is worse than the other, but that's the lesser evil. So a lot of people are just not motivated to vote and to do this research. But if they saw the system was actually going to start improving, you would get a lot more people involved.
All right. I hate to be a contrarian here, and it's got now I'm going to give people every reason in the world to call me a radical leftist, woke, libtard, whatever they want to call me, because they pile on every day about this stuff. What I'm going to say is not necessarily ideologically, but I do feel like there is a huge difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party right now, and I don't think it's right or left. I think if Donald Trump farts, everybody in the Republican Party says it smells like roses. If let's say Joe Biden farted, everybody say, who farted? It smells like shit in here. I think the Democrats are far more likely to be critical of their have some differences when they think their candidate or elected official has done something wrong. And the Trump cult, it cannot see fallibility in any way. Trump never makes a mistake. He shits and it's roses. Anything he does is absolutely perfect, and they can't ever criticize the leader. And that is, I don't think you're going to get past when you dig that kind of cult mentality into something. I don't think we can ever come to We want people who generally want to make things better. No, we want to follow the cult leader. Even if he jumps off a cliff, we also have to jump off the cliff with him, because this is loyalty to the leader, instead of a common cause of trying to improve our systems. Yes or no?
Yeah, so I totally agree with a lot of what you're saying there, but it's still like you're still pointing. It seems like those people are this huge population, but they're not half the country as much as it seems. There's because there's like maybe that mentality, but then like a lot of people in office in that party, they're freaking out. They don't even know what to do. They might completely disagree and they want to say something, but the way the system is like so cuckoo right now that they just fall in line and they don't know what to do. And especially the way he, threatens people when they don't go his way and stuff like that. So we're just in a very like messed up time, and partly because Democrats don't really stand for much. All they exist is we're not Trump, and we're less evil than him. Vote for us. And so people, you're not going to get enough people to vote against someone. They have to be voting for something too. And like, so that's really like, there wouldn't be such a big fight if like there was actually somebody that like stood for what people want.
See, I think though, and again, it's giving people every reason to call me all those names, but I think Kamala Harris actually gave people. She was for small business startup money. She was for protecting Social Security and Medicaid. She was for Medicare for all. She was for a lot of populist programs and putting things out that were not just Trump is evil, but here's what we're going to do: pro-union, and we're going to strengthen unions and strengthen our economy in America that way through the
bring down housing costs. Yeah,
right.
First, yeah.
So I don't think they keep talking about they were just anti-Trump, but they did have.
She was very specific,
populist solution.
Yeah, because there are a number of politicians. Okay, I'm going to say civil servants, because to me there's a difference between a civil servant and a politician. To me, the politicians are the ones that are corrupt and take the money and don't do their jobs. And civil servants would do the job whether they got paid or not, because they believe in the system. I'm just so that I can have a distinction between the two. Right. One of my favorites is Elizabeth Warren. Now she is extremely particular about what she wants to do, where she wants to get the money, what she wants to tax, what she wants to fund, what she wants to protect. Extremely particular, and when they're not attacking her personally, as opposed to her because they really can't attack what she's saying, because what she says, she's saying this is how it can work. She's showing you the solution, and while they attack her personally, that's Pocahontas. And then the actual solutions get lost in the diatribes and the tropes and stuff. Yeah. So there are people
come out and say, "Forget that Pocahontas. I'm Puspatak. I'm sorry."
And then people are so stupid that they start chasing the wrong argument anyway. Yeah. Now she could lay out a half an hour. She could give a half-hour TED talk on finances and consumer protection, and then somebody would go, "That's just Pocahontas." And instead of people ignoring the Pocahontas part and talking about even if they attacked her policies with logic and reason, saying, "Well, you can't do this because," that's not what they do. And same with Kamala Harris. The closest they came to her, they asked her if she didn't get the Senate, if she didn't have a Senate majority, how would she do what she wanted to do? And she didn't have an answer for that. Matter of fact, she dodged the answer.
It's hard to have an answer for that, but
right.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm supposed that there's ways to do this, but here's the question I have for you, Travis. Now, in order to initiate your system and get it people behind it, it's going to take some money as well, right? You can't do it without money. You can't go totally unfunded and build this dream that you're doing. How are you raising money for that?
Sure. So let me just finish the last conversation, then I'll jump into that. So so real quick, so civil servant, like Elizabeth Warren, civil servant, Bernie Sanders, civil servant, Harris. I mean, part of the problem there was like no one voted for her in the primary. Like, so like I hear this narrative again and again. They basically skipped the primary. They wouldn't let anyone argue, no debates, no anything. Like, yeah, you could argue that, oh, they didn't know that Biden was not going to run. But like people feel like she was just anointed. No one chose her at that time, and like there could have been a very healthy primary. If Democrats really wanted to do their job, they would have had a healthy primary. They would have decided that Biden shouldn't run and have a debate and stuff. But ultimately, like I don't think we double check. I don't think she was for Medicare for all now. There's a while, like around 2016 in a primary, I think she was. I'm not sure she was now, but the biggest thing that people keep saying is like, so Republicans fight to win, but Democrats fight to lose. Like they want to be in office, but then they don't pass what they say they're going to pass. So, and like, so people feel like they're weak, like, oh, we're just one vote shy, and oh, look at that. And so people feel like it's lip service. They don't feel they could trust Harris. Maybe there's a lot of things she said, and if she actually did what she says she would do, it would be great. But you know, people would point out, like when they were in the like, you know, she always has like these multi-millionaires at the top spending like $1 million a ticket to get to her dinners, and you know, she took all the same money as everyone else. And you know, a big turning point was with Obama. People really thought things were going to change with Obama. And you could even, like, it's debatable whether he just didn't fight well or it's that the party didn't back him up. But, like, people really thought him, like the progressive, I'm kind of going from the progressive movement. I hear a lot from them. And they felt like they thought Obama was a progressive, then whether he wasn't or it's just the party won't allow it, though not nearly as much change happened. And then from then on, people, they just don't believe the Democrats. So, you know, they like people like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, and there's a reason for that. They don't take corporate money for the most part, you know, especially Bernie. I think Warren's almost all pure. But they just go by small dollar donations. So they don't have to compromise with the establishment in what they do.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just Bear Love is agreeing with you about the primary and all this stuff. Did the Republicans have a real primary?
As a matter of fact, no. As a matter of fact,
no.
Trump.
But that's still, you're talking about the lesser two evils. I'm not comparing the two. I'm comparing.
I'm just saying.
Correct.
The people barking about, well, there was no primary. They had 2 years to have a real primary and didn't. And the Democrats had. And again, I'm not making excuses for that. But you know, what would a primary have taken in the time that Joe should have stepped down? He should have never ran. But we can't live in the past and saying what should have happened and all that stuff. But by the time we got to the point where we convinced Joe not to run, where he should have lived up to his pledge not to do that, by the time we got there, it was really too late to have a primary, wasn't it? I don't know. I mean,
it was. Not only was it too late, but the people that would have been primary candidates weren't going to run against an incumbent, which Harris pretty much was. I mean, I would have loved for Gretchen Whitmer to run. There was no, you know, I would have loved for even the Pennsylvania governor. You know, I would have liked the primary, sure. Yeah, Shapiro. I would have liked the primary, sure. That would have been nice, but let's be practical. It wasn't time enough to do that. Right. And it's not like she was actually anointed. I mean, if they turned against Biden, he was a sitting president, they could have just easily turned against Harris. The money, you know, it's not, the people that are falling back on there was no primary thing, that's bullshit. And the fact that they projected onto Obama was never a liberal. Obama was a centrist from the beginning.
Stephen, wake up.
You know, Obama was always a centrist. And people were projecting onto Obama.
I think what happened with Obama is he definitely had progressive ideas. With the American Health Care Act, the Affordable Health Care Act was definitely a progressive idea. I think what soured a lot of people on him when they found out that he had to, and when they found out the president wasn't as powerful as he wanted to be or should be, and that he had to kind of bargain with insurance companies, they saw that as weakness because he wasn't going to get the bill passed without their cooperation, and then they were disappointed pointed, oh, you're not as powerful as.
Well, that's crazy though. Why does government have to compromise with insurance? That's such an insanity to a real democracy.
Yeah, Obama shot himself in the foot because he took universal health care off the table, or the public option. He took that off the table. Yeah, took the public option off the table as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
He should not have done that.
Right.
And also the ACA was basically the refurbished version of what
Romney care.
Romney care, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
So Obama, like I said, Obama was not a liberal; he was a centrist. And so the people who projected onto him, that's their fault.
Yeah. But his idea for healthcare was a very progressive endeavor.
Relatively speaking,
it didn't come out as perfect, and it gave every opportunity. And listen, you had Rush Limbaugh kind of just like leading the way on the hate for that. Like, this is communism. It's pure communism, I tell you. But anyway, we can't change the past. We're here to talk about changing the future.
I thought we were here to talk about time machines, so we could change the past.
So, I would love that. There's a girlfriend in 1979 that I would love to go back and say, you know what, I did lie to you. Let's start over again.
No matter how far back you go, Matt, Scarlett Johansson is not going to fall for you.
I was thinking more Amber Heard because
Amber Turd would probably still come shit on your bed if you asked her to.
All right.
Amber Alert. Sorry.
So let's take this back to futureis.org.
One more point on that is like, we can't change the past and look at the past and all that, but the thing is like a lot of people are seeing the lack of integrity of the Democratic Party. The other part was like, in 2016, Bernie won in the primaries by like popular vote in the primary, but super delegates overridden the right. So and then in 2020 it wasn't exactly the same, but he won the first 4 primaries and none of the media would talk about it. They'd say, oh, Buttigieg number 2, oh, Biden couldn't even get number 5. And then it was just the 5th state, South Carolina, red state, and then Biden did well for the first time in the primary, and then like everyone dropped out and gave their vote to him. And to me, to what a lot of us think is that they saw Bernie was a threat, that Bernie was going to win. And so the establishment, locked arms and they made sure we are not letting the people have this party. We're going to stick to the status quo. And like, let's make sure Biden gets it. So Buttigieg dropped out. Everyone dropped out. Like pretty much.
I don't see that they were saying, let's get Biden to get, I don't think they gave it to Biden. Let's face it. The first 4 primaries were majority. They didn't represent the way the country looks. Iowa has Iowa is got 19. I'm just joking. I was gonna say Iowa has 19 black people. I know they have 40. But
I thought you were going to say electoral votes, and then but no, 19 black people. That's all.
I'm just saying, but so they don't really look like the country. South Carolina is was the first state that actually has a lot of minorities. Okay, now I'm just saying that it's just a different look. That's all.
Well, South Carolina, that's a very weird dynamic there, where you have a lot of black Republicans or black conservatives. Like, I think it's because they're still thinking, the party of Lincoln, the anti-slavery Republicans. I don't know.
Well, when I was growing up, when I was a child, growing up in Baltimore, the conventional wisdom was you register as a Republican as an homage to Lincoln and Eisenhower, but you vote as a Democrat because of FDR and Kennedy. So that, actually more FDR than Kennedy, but still it was Kennedy by the time I turned, 6 or 7.
Let's take this back to Travis and his idea about how things are going to work in the future. So
I like talking about me.
I know.
We know, buddy.
I thought you were talking about FDR for a second there.
You want me to answer the money question, or you want to do a new question?
Well, answer the money question.
Okay, so basically to refresh anyone listening of the like how we're going to raise money. We are going to need a lot of money for the tech platform piece of this, and the answer is we are only going to be doing the grassroots style. Like our goal is to get $5, $10 at a time, but from a lot of different people. You know, a lot of people are upset with the system. No one, like, people don't feel like there's an answer. Like, as much as people feel like things are crumbling down, no one's out there saying this is the solution. Like, the more people understand what we're doing, it's the most viable, logical, ethical solution. Just makes the most sense to get the most people, like, just get us on a better track. And it doesn't matter where you stand on policies. It just builds the right infrastructure. But so we're doing this small dollar donations. I mean, like, look, like Bernie was all small dollar donations in the primaries, and he outraised all his primary opponents. And then also AOC in the House, she a lot of times outraces Nancy Pelosi, and she only takes small dollar donations. So when people really believe in something, they'll put money on it. And then the last thing I'll say too is, like, it's almost like for the cost of like 2 Senate campaigns, we could fund all 50 states show all politicians equally, show all this stuff for the cost of like two campaigns. So it's like, we just need that kind of a donation, and then we could show everyone.
All right. And so as far as the mechanics of it, your plan is to do away with the Electoral College, or no?
Gonna stay neutral on that right now. We're not. I feel like we can't land on something yet, but we that's kind of like up to the will of the majority still. Because I've heard. I mean, like, yeah, right now I heard why the Electoral College why people believe it should stay. So I don't know. We're
why
still
do
kind of
people
open.
believe it should stay? Because I understand the reason that they implemented it in the first place, but is that still hold true? What is the argument for it? I don't know what the argument for it is.
I believe the main argument is just that, like, without the Electoral College, like, all the middle states would not have as much of a voice, and it's just like these higher populated city areas, urban areas will end up overrepresented, and then those that are like, you know, like, so a farmer is not going to be nearly as much represented, and people in the rural areas are not going to be represented as much. And so, like, the Electoral College tries to kind of balance it out.
But they were balancing out. They were doing it because of slavery. That's the Electoral College is a vestige of, you know, trying to help slave states. If you get rid of the Electoral College, and you get rid of the party system, so that you go with the round robin, you know, the multiple rounds, make them discuss ideas. The people in the rural America, we'll still be discussing ideas, and because there are people who live in the city who want people in the country to do well because they provide our food.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so now we're talking about helping. You know, I eat vegetables. I want my vegetables to be healthy and green and grown and cost less. So sure, I want what the farmers want. You know, and I'm sure that the farmers would love to have less violence or whatever. You know,
I don't have autistic superpowers. I might have autism. I'm certain I'm on the spectrum somewhere, but I'm just not able to understand how the individual farmer has less of a voice with a one-on-one than he does with we're going to take the collective, because they're still even in those situations, their vote goes towards how the rest of their state votes, and every state has cities and clusters of people, so that still end up being part of a conglomerate vote rather than an individual vote, and how that empowers them more. I just can't wrap my dopey little head around it. Somebody please help me.
Well, like, I mean, first of all, I like, personally, I agree with you guys. I'm trying to determine if there's enough undeniable, like, fact that we should just land on a side. So it's either we want to get rid of it, or we have to stay neutral is the answer to that. But the thing is, like, you know, what are the most populated states? California, you know, New York, specifically city. It's just like, I guess, like, you know, the more congested an area, the more it tends to go left, and so it's I don't know. I'm not the one to have that.
Listen though, but in all those states you mentioned, California and New York, they're both highly agricultural states. Both of them have lots and lots of farms. I mean, so they have clusters of cities where there are high. But so when you give it to the individual, then I'm thinking you're still represented. you're more represented because your vote counts. Then every single vote counts. I don't know. It's really hard for me to understand the argument that I'm more representative if the people in the city are actually counted as as my vote, and my vote doesn't matter at all, than if my vote actually matters. And it's just I can't get it.
I'm just saying, for example, if I were a candidate, okay, and without a party.
I think it's if I were a carpenter, but go ahead.
Okay, if I had a hammer. So, but if I were a candidate, and chances are, I would run as an independent, I would not have a party. I would make arguments to woo the farmers. I would make arguments to woo the people who live in the city. I would make arguments to woo those people and to show how all those things are mutually beneficial. So without a party, you're trying to build a coalition, okay? And the coalition is showing how we help and need each other. So I reject the idea that because somebody lives in a country, their voice wouldn't be heard.
Right.
Okay. If you're trying to now build a coalition, if you take away the party, you don't have a built-in base of 30%. Okay. You don't have a built-in base. You have to build your base based on arguments and arguments that people want to hear.
Even just
and people they want to hear and that they believe that you're willing to do.
Yeah. I mean, like to be clear too, we're on the very earlier stages. I want to start to be very we just want to move very slowly. So like things like flexible voting methods, we're absolutely for. Ranked choice voting, there's different ones. We're not specifically ranked choice voting, but we definitely think there should be some form of a flexible voting methods, like you said, multiple rounds, proportional voting, stuff like that. Absolutely. Money out of politics, obviously we're all for that.
You have to get at least 51%, and you have to get at least 50% plus one of the popular vote. You can't get 49% of the vote and someone else got 48, and then you become the candidate. No, because the majority, 51% did not pick you.
Yeah.
So now I'm sorry, we were all over the place, but again, I'm a little confused about exactly how this is going to work. The mechanism of what you see, is it do we take away, because you just said multiple voting, so you can have mail-in voting and online voting and in-person voting and all those kind of things. I mean, nothing of that's pretty much.
So yeah. To be clear on what our stance is, we just want to build the infrastructure to empower America to decide these things. So right now, it's just like the wealthy and chosen few basically make all the decisions. There's this Princeton study that a lot of people reference, little older now, but there's this net zero correlation between what the American people want and what happens. So whether 90% of America wants something or 1% of America, it does not increase the likelihood of a bill going into becoming a law. It's virtually all just follow the money, follow the power. So the beauty of what we're saying is we don't have all the answers. I'm not the expert of the Electoral College. There's some argument why not to abolish it. I'm respecting that for now. Maybe once I learn enough information, I haven't done too deep into that issue, and maybe I could be convinced that there's enough of an undeniable thing. But ultimately, us as an organization and the system we're building is that we don't want to stand on issues. We're trying to help America decide how to decide. So we want to build a system where Americans can ask these questions. Why should we abolish it? Why should we not abolish it? And then get an informed choice, let people know what their choices are, the pros and cons against each choice, and then build a consensus around it.
Have you seen the way Americans interact with each other on social media?
Yeah. But we're talking about tech enhanced, basically we would let each side kind of decide, talk through all this stuff in forums, but then we would use AI and other tech assisted things to find the consensus.
GD hates you all of a sudden. GD you said GD's curse words.
I know it's controversial and AI not making decisions, but AI Like, because the funny thing is, like, people have like a million different different opinions, but then you consolidate it, and a lot of people are just saying the same thing in different words.
Yeah.
So we could just tally, 80,000 people said basically this, and 20,000 people said that, and then like we could kind of tally up and get more of a consensus. So like people can pour out their feelings, but we can consolidate it. Because like, let's be real, like people are not going to read through all this stuff. I want it where it'd be like, here's like the main 5 reasons for it. Here's 5 reasons against it. Everyone has to read real quick those 5 fors and against before they make their vote on which side they are on an issue.
Yeah, I am not against AI per se. I am against AI. AI if AI is used as a tool to help people, I'm for it. You know, if AI is used because people are too fucking lazy to do it themselves, I'm against it.
Oh,
I'm against
it. Wow, look at him talking like a
robotics are coming out
like a guinea, like a muyan.
No, I'm not against AI. I'm against AO.
Hey, yo, hey.
Travis, you're an optimist. I would love to be an optimist. I wish some of you damn optimists could figure a way to make it wear off on me, because I am a pessimist, and I understand your desire to fix the system. I just think we're hopeless.
But yeah, like I get that, and I believe there's no other solution. I mean, this could sound cocky, but like this is the only answer. And like the more people understand what we're doing, it just so beyond outside the box. It just makes so much sense. And the way it's gonna kind of go through demographics. Like right now, we're really appealing to Gen Z and millennials. And then we're going to start getting them excited. Then that gets the older generations excited. You guys are not going to be as optimistic until you see the younger generations being like getting
you want to get the older generation excited. You host a paint party. I
just said
I saw you in that video one of the videos you're doing the painting.
So now
they go to edibles. You got me.
They go to futurists.org. And basically, is there a call to action here that people are supposed to?
There's a donate button.
Donate.
Yeah. So, you could always go to the site for the most recent information. Right now, we just we launched our first real major fundraising campaign yesterday, actually, on GoFundMe. So we're looking for donations. We're very active on social media, so you can follow us. Like our main 3 is TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky, and then our online communities on Discord. So we're trying to funnel citizens there to talk to them and engage them about this new framing of politics, and so we're still in that earlier stages, trying to get our feet get on our feet and everything, but the next thing coming in the next like 2 or 3 months is not the digital democracy, but the DP app, where it's going to help people kind of understand the system. Why is it broken? How does corruption work? You know, most people like all of us here, we're more politically versed, but like, you know, most people, they have an intuition that there's corruption, but they don't know how it works. They don't even know that's legal. It's not like a secret truck of money like driving, you know, that it's through the bureaucracy that they make money through the, you know, so we're going to explain that kind of stuff, explain our mission, how it boils down to, before the tech is really that viable, it's really about changing the mindset that like, if like, you know, one person's left, one person's right, let's put that aside and like, let's fight for down-serving politicians.
I don't even think I think those terms left and right just become team names, and people don't even really associate ideologies or perspectives, worldviews with those anymore, because they don't seem like they make any sense to me.
Correct.
But we're about where we have to let you go, and appreciate you being here. But have you been personally attacked yet?
No.
Then you're not doing, you're failing. I'm saying until you get people hating on you, you're not doing the right thing. Because I think this is a measure of how you know. Listen, Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump, all these people hate them
for a reason, because they're ruffling some feathers, whether it's and so if you're not making anybody angry, I don't feel like you're
I think he will. I think if it gains enough traction and the people that don't want everyone to have an equal say and an equal voice in the elections, they will eventually speak up, and or their goons will.
Fair enough.
When I ran
Fair enough.
I ran for office,
We're
when I
running
ran
out
for
of time
office
with
for the
Travis.
party-
Hold on. We're
Okay.
running out of time with Travis. Are you prepared for that? If Steven's correct on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, it's just that we don't have we don't have the presence yet to be a threat. So people are loving us, but we're still in the small thousands of people following us. But yeah, that's going to happen.
But you personally, when they show up with pitchforks on your front lawn, you're prepared for that?
I not like physically prepared, but I'm mentally prepared. That I know to pull some triggers and need guards and stuff when the time comes. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck. Futureis.org, and then we're going to listen to what Stephen says about when he ran for office and how people hated him right now. Thank you for being part of the program. Good luck, and I sincerely hope you're onto something there. But again, I'm a pessimist. But good luck, and hopefully you've made a difference here by getting your message out. We will post some short clips and stuff and see if we can get you some traction.
Cool.
Thanks for being
here.
Would
love that. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. All right, Stephen, tell me about when you ran for office.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't know if you know this about me, but when I ran for office,
dog catcher.
Once I started what
dog catcher or what office?
No, I was running for county commissioner,
Oh.
St. Joseph County in Indiana, and once I started talking about where I was gonna cut money, especially from the paychecks of the other county commissioners, that was when my signs started coming up missing, and I started getting death threats. And
what does a county commissioner do? Because we have county superintendents. What is a county commissioner position?
County commissioner helps set up and dictate the county budget.
That's just what our superintendent does. All right, it's just a different name for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and people hated you. You got hate.
It got to the point where after the election, I was done. I quit. Yeah,
I would have loved.
Some people could just hate you because of your personality and not because of your politics.
It very well could have been that too, for sure. Yeah, but it was. It was. I did a talk at IUSB with the other candidates, and people were asking us questions. And when the budget questions came up, I had gone through the county budget, and I mean, on top of assistants having assistants and people getting brand new furniture every 6 months and all this little stupid shit, the county commissioners were making, almost $100,000 a year, but they're not having to put that much work in. I mean, they're still running their businesses full time. Obviously, their time isn't going into the job. They don't need to be making that kind of money. So when I said I was going to cut the pay by a minimum of 25%, none of them liked that.
Well, I'm glad you, because the Ayatollah has offered me a $500 million jet, and I can't wait to take it for a spin. It's going to be fun, even though I don't know how to fly a jet. But
I would have them just spend a little bit less on the jet, a little bit more on the pilot for you.
All right, whatever. It's easy. We learned that you can just.
Otherwise, that's just a big paperweight, Matt.
You can chain any one of them sand. Wait a minute.
Sand gingers.
You could train any one of them to fly a plane. They might crash into a building here or there, but
yeah, I must say but then you take the risk of them. We can take off. We just can't land.
I still remember getting in trouble for making jokes while 9/11 was happening. It was terrible.
While it was happening.
Yeah, I was in fifth grade, and I was a little asshole, and I was a contrarian, but I was also the class clown. And my teacher was freaking out, but none of us really understood what was happening. We just thought it was an accident that happened. So then I started singing the roof is on fire. And the teacher's like, that is not funny. Sit down. And I'm like, all right.
Too soon. Your teacher was Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
Too soon.
I remember when it happened, and I don't
remember it.
I knew it wasn't an accident only because I'd piloted a Cessna before, and you do everything in your power to avoid hitting other people. You look for a safe place. So
as an adult, it's hard to fathom that kind of thing being an accident. But as a kid, you're like, oh no.
The first one I remember hearing about the first one out in the parking lot. I pulled up the Cablevision. Everybody in the company was out in the parking lot already, and I was driving along, no radio on. I was like, "What the hell is everybody doing out here?" Oh, didn't you hear a plane hit the towers? And I was like, "Well, that could have been an accident because we had it with the Empire State Building where it was an accident." But when the second one hit, there was no doubt that this is a planned attack.
Yeah,
but my thought was, how did they get the pilot to do? Because I'm thinking, so I'm thinking they talk to hold a gun to the pilot's head. Well, how would a pilot? You hold a gun to my head. I'm going to die either way. I might as well just take the bullet and
I was asked. When the first one happened, a woman was jogging by because I was at work. I used to work on power supplies. I was in the neighborhood, standing on the street working, and this woman was jogging by, and I had my radio on my truck on, and it was up loud enough that she could hear it. So she was hearing it on the radio. And
why is bail made for Building 7?
Well, look, that was 9/11 was my first conspiracy theory outside of UFOs, and somebody has to take the blame for Building 7 outside of the government. So
why
it's gotta be you? Why not you? Because you like throwing people off roofs.
Because I was at least 40 miles away.
You were like, I like throwing people off roofs. Why not just bring the whole roof down? And then you just
well, yeah. All right, fair enough.
Or your taxes were in there, and you were like, "Bye-bye."
All right.
Well, the lady jogging by, she says, "Oh my God, what's going to happen next?" And I said, "White people don't know what it's like to go through an airport like black people." That's what I told her.
Yeah, and that was the start. I don't want to go hold down the conspiracy rabbit hole here, but that was the start of using false flag operations to, maybe not the start, but a prominent one, where we're going to use this to take freedoms away from people. We're going to restrict people's freedom, and the NDAA, where they're basically allowed to spy on your phone call. Everybody's phone calls are being monitored. This is being monitored now, not necessarily monitored, but some computer AI thing is analyzing it, looking for
keywords,
the metadata.
Yeah. So I mean, every one of these things is designed in some way to take some of our freedoms away, and so we're becoming less free every day.
Well, it was like Karl Rove used to say, "Don't let a good Republicans do not let a good disaster go to waste."
Yeah, exactly. So with the Travis thing, you guys, that's not going to work, is it? Right.
I mean, it's I guess. On paper, it sounds good. I guess, like
on paper, but it's not on paper. It's on digital. It's digital.
Well, so like, if I was in my 20s, this would have been something I would have latched onto and probably would have wanted to help with, because I think the idea of it sounds good and it makes sense.
I like, you look at David. There's a young man who's now the vice chair of the DNC. His last name is
Hogg.
He started off
Steven. Squeal hog.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Steven.
He started off just being a student. He started off as a student with a platform, and he made himself visible. He made himself heard, and now he's ruffled enough feathers that they want to take away his DNC seat.
Yeah.
For sure, it can happen. I mean, especially if you're determined. If you're idealistic enough not to be discouraged by the naysayers, and I think you have to be young enough to not be so tainted. When you start hearing that stuff, you still believe.
Well, I mean, if these guys start showing up at at different RNC and DNC events and starts touting these ideas around of equal opportunity, campaigning and things like that, eventually, they're gonna ruffle the wrong or right feathers, I guess, and it'll if they get enough traction, it could definitely be a thing that could be something. I don't know.
Do what?
Then somebody.
Do what?
Have been a contender.
We're gonna do away with the cult. We're gonna
I just think if you could legitimately give all of the candidates an equal opportunity, an equal chance, and an equal say, it would hopefully weed out the dumb ones. It would weed out the bad
here's
ones.
what happened, and maybe it didn't happen, but I think this is what happened. People heard candidates saying things that were demonstrably false. They're eating the cats and dogs. They're taking children and having sex change operations in school at the nurse's office in school. This is demonstrably false, and people, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. He tells people every day the prices are going down. They go out and it's $1.98 for gas, and then they go pay $3.05 a gallon for gas and say it's right, it's $1.98. There's no way any kind of
I don't disagree. I feel like if every person in America had access to one spot where they can see the claims, see the truths, see just all of that info in one spot, maybe
they have that at the gas. When they go to the gas station, everybody just told them
no,
it was $1.98. They go to the gas station and pay $3.05.
Outside of delusion, yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course, the delusion's high. It's crazy high because I agree. People keep talking about these $1.98 gas prices. Fuck me, I haven't seen one. The lowest I've seen is $2.99. That's the lowest I've seen gas anywhere, and it's at a gas station that I'm fairly certain cuts it with water. So I'm not going there anyway. I'm going to go to the 309 place.
But it's across the board. Everything he says that is demonstrably provably false.
He's got a weird hypnotic hold on everyone. It's weird. I don't get it.
That's why I was saying. If you're a responsible news outlet, you don't play anything he says until don't take him live at all. Don't even give him the chance to say that shit live because it's too late once he says it. It's out there. Don't take him live. Put him on a 7-hour delay. It's like we have a 7-second delay on radio. Put him on a 7-hour delay. Don't talk about the last shit you can disprove.
It's so disheartening to me to see people who know that he just lied to him, but he tells it like it is. He's like, come on, man. I'm getting into one of these arguments and I wasn't in the argument, but listening to my friends argue with this guy on Facebook who is a hardcore Trumper, and he knows that nobody was eating his cats and dogs. By the way, what are the stats on eating cats and dogs? Have they gone up and down or up or down since January 20th? There are more people. We're not getting any reporting on that.
I've heard that they stopped eating the cats because now the cats are protected by an executive order from Donald Trump that ordered all Haitians to stop eating cats and dogs. It was the second executive order he signed. The cats and dogs are safe now.
What about the sex changes at school? Are those? Is there an executive no sex changes at school?
He did not sign an executive order. So unfortunately, those sex changes in school are still being done by the school nurses. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Even
vaginal reconstruction at your local elementary school near you.
I'm sorry. This is an important breaking news story I have to read here. Stephen is a fat Amish potato with a stupid hat. That is all. This is important breaking news.
That is. Thank you.
Potato?
Listen, a lot of people like to eat their vegetables.
I thought he was a potato.
Right. I was thinking more tomato. It looks like I don't know, tomato to me. But that's because I'm Italian.
Ginger, please.
Right. Ginger. Wow. I don't know. I'm sorry to be such a pessimist. First of all, the digital part of it, I don't trust.
That's where my doubts came in, because that's why I asked him about the algorithm, because he's saying this algorithm's going to help.
Stop. Please define algorithm.
So the programming and software
that the algorithm dance to.
So the programming and software that they would use to dictate who gets elevated, who gets shown, blah 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 blah. That's why
blah 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 is not a definition. Take that blah 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 out of there. Back up and continue a real definition.
Okay, so the software that they would use that would dictate what candidates are shown to who, because he said it would be like a ranking system based on, people's interaction with the candidates. So if that's going to dictate who's shown where, who gets to decide that? Like,
so you're only getting shown as a select number, or everybody gets shown to everybody?
no. So he said there would be like ranking systems, for example, on like certain issues or certain topics and things like that. So my thought was, okay, so what if somebody who's more right leaning or more left leaning, who has access to the software, can maybe go in and change something to where maybe the constituents from that area who said, "Oh, look, this guy actually came through and did this stuff when he really didn't." The software ends up just saying he did, and ends up showing him like he's doing something that he's not doing.
I don't think that's an algorithmic thing. I think you're overcomplicating the hacking. You just hack the results. You just go in. If you're a malicious person and want to make sure things go your way, you just go in and hack the results data.
Yes,
you don't have to worry about who gets shown.
If you don't want to leave, if you want to leave as little trail as possible, you make the software do the work for you by changing it to where, like, when people are saying, "Oh, this Republican guy actually came through on promises A, B, C, and D," but then the software then changes it to where they're saying that actually this, Democrat or this libertarian.
Breaking news again. Stephen is a fat Amish potato with a stupid hat. That is oh, that's the same breaking news. I'm sorry. I thought it was new.
That's all right. Al, that was Al telling you. He's always a little delayed.
Now, if it was Al, it would be like, Stephen is a Amish potato.
Stephen is a fake Amish
with a stupid hat. That is Al.
Yeah, I just don't trust anything that can be hacked, and I think any online stuff can be hacked. So why would we even go down that way? I hate to sound like a Trumper, but I am for in-person voting as well. I'm not against mail-in voting for people who absolutely, like nursing home people and people in the armed forces and all that stuff, remote. But I think online voting is definitely not something I encourage. I just don't trust it. I'll never trust it because I'm an old boomer. I'm beyond a boomer. I'm a corpse. That's what they call my generation, corpse.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I don't have a lot of faith in Travis's optimism. I appreciate his energy for it. But come on, we're doomed. Aren't we doomed? Come on, tell me we're not doomed. Prove to me now, or give me some reason to believe we're not doomed. Any reason to believe we're not doomed.
We're still alive.
Prove it. Oh, the shit on the shit on the wall that up here on my head. I guess that's proof. I'm sorry, I'm all backwards now with these machines. All right. Unless you guys got anything else to
Is that the alarm to say goodbye to Govs? Because we haven't said goodbye to Govs for like 2 months.
We don't do that anymore. We don't have to do that. Because I think we can, the Governor's Network is capable of having 2 shows on at once. That's why I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So, but Tony's already on, right? Tony's already,
he's been on for at least 20
One of these times we should just raid their show while we're live. And just all join their stream.
I wanted to do that when John Pavaramo had his 48-hour thing for MS. Just kind of do like a simulcast thing. We pop in on him. Yeah, never heard back from him on that. So I guess that's a no.
That'd be fun to do.
A certain comedian, a successful comedian, has asked me to be a comedy mentor.
Jackie wants you to be a comedy mentor?
Absolutely not. Jackie doesn't even like me. Jackie barely tolerates me saying hello to him. If I say hello,
I didn't mean a comedy mentor to him. I thought maybe he wanted you to be a comedy mentor to like someone he wasn't really he didn't like very much.
Yeah, no. If I say hello to Jackie, his response is queer.
That makes sense. That tracks.
I know. I like
not far off. So
that's such a 1960s insult. I mean, at least call me a fag.
Like, no, that's more. See, but that's
why would they call you a cigarette?
Well, fag is more of a '90s gay term, isn't it?
Here's the and here's your nickel in your cup.
I think they mean comedy business, like a business mentor. Like what makes? Why would anybody even consider me a person with business savvy? Do you see this fucking show? It's operated like a rinky dink.
Because you have a light that says on the air. Anyone who's gonna have a light that says a working light that says on the air.
That was a gift.
Oh, because mine was a gift also, but I broke my light the first time I used it.
No, somebody who was watching the show sent me that. I forget who. I should remember who sent that gift. And it came with a card. I didn't know what it was when I first opened it. I was like, "What the hell is this? A piece of plastic?" Oh, you plug it in. All right, so we got it on the airline. But I said, "Sure, I'll mentor you anyway." I like a Costanza. You need a life coach? I'll tell you what to do. Don't look at my life and do the opposite. That's my advice. Whatever I do, don't do it. Do the opposite, and you'll. So, but I'm perplexed by this because this person is already a successful comedian. Somebody we've had on the show. Does that ring a bell? Are you ready to guess?
Josh DeWay.
No. That's an interesting guess. That means you have little faith in Ron's ability to mentor him, right? That's
Ron isn't mentoring him though. Well, in a way he is.
Ron's a good. I mean, Ron's not a bad mentor. I think all the way around as far as any of that goes. But I mean, business wise, I mean, you have people knocking on your door. So
Ron's
I mean,
greatest advice would be bisexual. That's his advice.
Not to be it, but to accept it. Accept that you are. Not that you. He's not saying be it. He's saying you are already that. Just
make a Ron decision and be bi.
That's a fair point.
I'm just curious why both of us said Josh DeWay at the same time.
I don't know.
There's something, you're just saying, because usually when two people say something at the same time, it's like some kind of common thread that makes you go there.
I think you wanted to buy each other a beer. But here's the deal. Again, another nickel.
Another nickel.
Do you think Josh is when I said somebody who's already highly successful, you thought Josh DeWay? Is he highly successful?
Well, that's just I don't think he's highly successful. I don't know what. That's what I'm curious as to how he came up with that name.
I feel okay. So here was my mindset, right? Josh,
you were going to say, "Here's the deal." You were going to put a nickel in the cup, weren't you?
I was. Here's the deal. So I think that Josh, as far as like somebody like me, looking at somebody like him, would consider him successful. He's doing the club circuit. He's traveling the country. He's out in LA right now. He's trying to do his thing. He's doing the thing. Like, he maybe, and it seems like he's making somewhat of a living off of this. So I feel like he's somewhat successful on it, but maybe he's hit some sort of marketing block or something along those lines. And he sees that you not only have people knocking on your door for your talents and skills, but he sees how you market yourself and says, "Man, I've met Matt. He said he'd help out if I need anything."
Anybody who knocks on my door will be greeted with a shotgun blast. That's first of all.
I didn't know your wife carried a gun.
Well, but I'm just saying, like you've said before in the past, you say to anyone that you see any glimmer of hope in for success that you would help them out if you can. And he probably thought of that and thought of you. So,
yeah, I don't know.
That was my mindset. That's where my mind went.
But my thought was, you'd not stop with the comedy mentor because you mean comedy business, and maybe I could be of some help. My thing would be get yourself most of the people, and even this person who I'm talking about, do not have a really convincing bio and EPK and website that they can send an agent booking. They have a consumer website. This is what I do. It is my YouTube and TikTok. But they don't have something that says to an agent, "This is why you should book me." This is, it's not an agent-friendly EPK or website. And I think the first step for anybody, if there's the advice at all, is to talk to an agent and ask them what it would take to impress them that they would take up booking you. What do they need to see? And then go from there. Build exactly what they tell you that they
build a pair. Yeah.
Other than that, so my job is done. My comedy mentorship. I just gave you it. That's my only piece of advice. Talk to agents who book comedians for big shows for big money, and say what do they need to take you on as a client, and then give them what they ask for. There you go. Done.
There you
go. Stephen, you didn't even write that down.
Here's the thing. I don't have to write it down because I can go back.
Oh
and
no,
watch.
I would start with get a car. Get a car.
Well, here's the. You know what? Yeah,
or a bus pass. A bus pass.
Dude, look. I'm telling you, when I get the car, I'm gonna be performing so much. You have no idea.
All right, I have no idea. It's like, oh, you're getting like you're being a little Trump now. It's gonna be bigger and better. Like nobody's gonna believe how big and beautiful this performance thing.
I got this big beautiful bit.
Big beautiful.
Nope, I'm not making any promises on quality.
It's gonna be a big beautiful career like nobody's ever seen before. People are gonna come up with.
I'm not making any promises on quality or size. I'm just saying that it will happen.
Big men will be coming up to you with tears in their eyes and say, "Sir, your comedy career is so inspiring because it's so big and beautiful. We almost can't believe how great you are."
And the price of
when
gas,
did you read the Yelp review about my cock?
Your comedy has driven the price of gas down to $1.98.
Yeah, and eggs 50 cents each. All right.
Oh, 50 cents each. That's
$6 a dozen. That's about what they are.
Yeah,
but when he said the eggs were down to 50 cents, he meant each, and that's for the small, the large and the jumbo, more than that. So
yeah.
Lie, just lie and lie and lie. If you tell a lie over and over and over again, eventually people will believe it. That's his mantra. He says that to people.
Yeah, the bigger, the bigger the lie, the better.
It seems to work. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. So Stephen, your next gig is at a Verizon store near you. Earning money so you can buy a car, so you can get this big, beautiful career. And GD is in July on Plausible. This is what we got. And me, what do I got?
Oh,
you're painting with old ladies.
You got live funeral footage, live funeral stream.
I have a original music show at Nostalgia on May 29th.
Oh, the 29th. Yeah.
Tickets are $10 in advance, $12 at the door. I'm opening for Brian Gaudet. And he'll leave a light on for you. And that's
now, if I come to see you, do I have to stay for Brian, or could I just get out early?
Oh, I plan on running out the fucking door. I'm trying to figure a way to die before I don't have to go there. If somebody would kill me on the 28th of May, so I don't have to do this.
And a lot of that comes.
I don't think you can kill me. No. But then I have a show on June 11th. But I'm not doing a lot of music shows. This is like I feel like I should just hang up my shingle on the music thing.
You know what? Look, if you're tired of it, you need to show up to your next gig wearing your favorite costume, and
Oh.
Oh, that combo is great. That's gonna make that a GIF.
All right, so I'm going to tell people what I tell them, and then say goodbye here. We have a show tomorrow. I don't know who's on it. I don't care. Jamie Schreiner's on it tomorrow. The lady whose head is her name is behind GD's head right now.
Yeah,
is it Schreiner or Shiner? Schreiner, right? It's
Schreiner.
Now, is she a Schreiner?
Probably not.
Like ride on a clown little tricycle or whatever.
No, she's the musician. I think she plays the little cymbals.
She's like, and it says something if Bo Burnham were a woman, right? And it says something about that in her bio. She's a comedian.
Wait a minute, you mean Bo Burnham isn't a woman?
Bo Burnham, don't you fuck with Bo Burnham.
I don't know who that is.
You fucking leave Bo Burnham alone. You leave him out of your mouth.
You don't know who Bo Burnham is, and you call yourself whatever you call yourself.
I call myself a certified friend.
You ginger.
And you got to know who Bo Burnham is. Bo Burnham is brilliant.
How dare you?
His name should be Brilliant Burnham.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Brilliant Blazing Saddles Bo Burnham.
Right. All right. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now. What the fuck? Hey, press the button.
retard.
I pressed the button and nothing happened, so obviously.
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.